Hello and welcome to Screen Source episode 43, your place for film and television news, reviews, and trailers. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
Pretty
I'm
good.
alright.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
alright.
I do this like as if my neck's broken. Like, how's everybody? How you guys doing?
I am well.
You
Thank
are
you.
a mannequin.
Well, actually, I
Ready.
just realized why it is. It's because I'm talking to a mic, and I don't want to like
And you're
lose.
like-
yeah,
yeah,
and the
you're
mic
like,
is kind
yeah.
of like off center, so it's like weird.
Right.
And you're just like,
Just
"How
hover-
do I
just
do this?
hover
How
around.
do I do
Right,
this?"
you just gotta figure out how to do that.
Cover it.
We're actually going to go into a trailer first,
Mhm.
and our very first trailer is going to be Maniac. After this trailer, we're going to go into, we're going to talk about it for a little bit, and then we're going to go into the news of the week. We're going to go into some reviews of some things that we saw over the past week, and then we'll watch some trailers towards the very end of the show as well. But let's start off by watching Maniac, which I know nothing about.
Neither do I.
Maniac
Other
the
than
series.
That's
this,
Emma Stone and
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, a very different
A
looking
very
Jonah Hill.
trim
Okay.
looking.
He's trimmed
Jonah
like
Hill.
And then it's a TV series, and then it's on Netflix. Those are the only
Okay,
things I think I
okay.
know.
All right.
So
Yeah, I never heard of this.
let's get a vote to watch.
Once you begin to appreciate the structure of the mind, there's no reason to believe that anything about us can't be changed. The mind can be solved.
What's happening?
I do not know.
Are those the Mexican colors?
No.
No.
Maybe.
I'm like blues in
That was too much of a lime green.
Maniac.
It's more of a forest green.
Oh, Cary Fukunaga.
there. Okay.
That looked very art housey.
Interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. It looks
Right?
so indie.
So, okay, anytime anybody says anything, the mind can be solved, I'm like, are y'all in a mental hospital?
Uh-oh.
Are they in a mental hospital?
It does seem like that, or like a
They're in
government experiment.
Or
They're in
kind of
experiments.
thing. Yeah.
Something.
Maybe they're mental patients.
Mm.
I'm going to guess mental patients.
Or it could be like a sort of like an island type of situation where
Sure,
they're like
sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
clones
yeah.
or
Sure,
something.
Some kind of experiments.
Mm-hmm.
That's
then
what
why
I'm.
Maniac? Why
Well-
call it Maniac?
Well, maniac again. I'm thinking
Yes.
maniac,
Mental
mental
institution.
patient, but not necessarily. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, they
Cary
also
Fukunaga's interesting.
do
Yeah.
they look like they're getting younger? Like the actors
Actually,
themselves, or
I actually was like, I saw the stark contrast between Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. And I'm probably good. A big part of that is weight loss, but I was thinking
Yes.
of super bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
Good point.
Superbad
Right?
reunion.
I forgot
Right?
that they were in
Superbad
Superbad.
I
together.
forgot she was in it.
Right?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying.
Super bad
Yeah.
reunion.
Do you
That's
guys want to
cool.
hear a little bit about this show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Okay,
out?
it's an upcoming American black comedy web television miniseries. That's a lot of
On the
adjectives.
Norwegian
Based on
television.
Norwegian series by the same name.
Okay.
We can go to the premise, and I'll read just a little bit of it. It follows Annie Landsberg and Owen Milgram, two strangers drawn to the late stages of mysterious pharmaceutical trial, each for their own reasons.
Ah.
Okay.
Interesting that
Pharmaceutical
Their
trial.
last names are both, I think, famous psychologists.
Really? Hill
Yeah,
and
or
Stone?
psychiatrists.
No,
Yeah.
Landsberg and Milgram.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think
Oh.
well, because
You.
Milgram is one, and then I don't know about Landsberg, but
But
it
maybe.
sounds like one.
And they definitely sound Norwegian as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I wonder if those were the original character names. I don't know. Could
Very
be.
interesting.
So do you guys think, we're going to see some like art housey, psychedelic
Yep.
images?
Gonna
and,
be
like-
weird.
Yeah, there was the it's kind of like who does that a lot? I mean a lot of Wes Anderson and other directors where it's like very centered. Everything's kind of even. You know, if you split it right down the middle, it almost looks like a
symmetrical and
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
lines and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that
Oh.
might have been Justin Thoreau's voice, the
Oh, okay.
voiceover, because I was
Okay.
like, that's not Jonah Hill. I know it's not
Right.
Jonah Hill. I'm thinking that was Justin Thoreau. That's my guess. It
Possibly.
might not have been. Could have been somebody completely different. But since his
Interesting.
name popped up,
We got Jonah Hill, Emma Stone, is that Sonia?
Sonoya Mizuno
And Billy Magnuson.
Magnuson.
Don't know these names.
But they said Justin Thoreau. Didn't it say Justin Thoreau? Did I make that up?
Did I thought
It did? Okay.
Maybe.
The director Mr. Fukunaga. Did I say that right?
I think you did.
Think
Okay.
so.
I am instantly attracted to him, and it is because he is Hapa, which means half Asian.
Half Asian. She does
I
love
was
the
like,
half Asians.
I was like, are you big fan of True? Was it True Detective?
True Detective,
Mhm.
executive producer and director
Was he
of
the
that.
showrunner?
Also did Beast of No Nation.
Oh,
That
Was
was
that-
another Netflix.
Jane
Was that a movie, though?
Eyre.
That was a movie,
That was a
I liked
movie. That
it.
was a
that.
film, which I think critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Beasts of No Nation?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't actually watch it.
I
didn't either.
put it off because I thought it was going to freak me out, like just upset me. I
Yeah.
think it's just upsetting.
Child soldiers, right?
Child soldiers.
Yeah.
But Idris Elba was the lead in that.
He's so
I mean,
good.
so I wanted to see it. I love Idris Elba. I think Cary Fukunaga is a very talented filmmaker, but I was
Sure.
like, this is going to be upsetting.
It's gonna ruin
Sure.
me.
It's
isn't it?
going to break my heart and destroy
It's
my
gonna
soul.
be like 12 Years a Slave. And I'm just gonna walk
I never
out
saw
like-
that. See, never saw it because I was
Oh my
worried it was going to
gosh.
just break my heart and destroy my
It
soul.
just ruins you.
Yeah.
It just ruins you.
So yeah, I guess not a ton to take away from the trailer. More of a teaser.
Teaser. yeah.
And my guess is we'll see more of this as it comes up. But also Netflix notoriously.
Oh, September 21st. Oh, it's coming out soon.
That's what I'm
Pretty
saying.
soon.
That's what I was getting at. Is that Netflix notoriously has
Wow.
like 1 week of 1 week of like, here's the thing that we're doing, and then it's in our
Couple
laps.
months.
and then they just put it out.
Yeah. Which it seems to be working for them.
Yeah.
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 And they don't need 3 months of letting you know that it's going to end up in the theater.
Yeah.
And they're starting to
I don't know.
get-
I think some do actually. I think some things suffer and some things don't.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, like
I
when
just
they
don't
used
know it's a necessity at like the level that they're at.
Right.
But I would prefer to know about these way more ahead of time than
When
a
they're
They're
week.
starting
it's
to get bigger and
effective, like
bigger
the,
stars too. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
they
and directors
when they
and
dropped
writers.
the Cloverfield like after the Super
Oh my
Bowl,
gosh,
that
that
was
was
cool
terrible.
actually.
Sure.
Even though the movie was but the idea of that was
That is
really
a good
cool.
point. Yeah, like we know about it now.
And then
Yeah.
they like literally you're watching Super Bowl commercials that say, "Hey, watch this." You know,
I'd love to see what the statistics were for like Super Bowl straight to Netflix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be great.
That was
that
so-
would
that's
be
really
fun.
smart.
Yeah,
It's
no,
really
that's cool.
smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I went home and watched it, and
Yeah,
but
we
I
wa-
did.
We watched,
I watched
it
it.
Right, yeah.
immediately,
Yeah.
and we were like, "This
Eh.
is not
Right,
good."
but I still watched it.
But you
Like,
watched
yeah.
it.
We
Yes.
still watched
And that's what counts.
it. Yep.
I
it
don't-
I
was-
think that's all they care about.
I think
honestly.
it should be.
Yeah.
We're concerned about the quality as well, but
But it's true to Netflix. It's just a view.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. I mean, and right now I feel this. We've talked about this before, but I feel like they're still just kind of throwing a lot of stuff at the wall,
Oh yeah.
Sure.
and they're seeing what sticks.
You think
and
it'll slow down?
Sure.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think at some point, hopefully, because I don't like that as a model. I don't think they should just make whatever
Yeah.
the hell. I think they should.
quality
a-
over quantity.
It is a whole. Yeah, they do
Sure.
have.
Yeah.
Would be better.
We mentioned this last time too. Like, look at what their business model is. It's really interesting as to how they're going about what content they're making and
Yeah.
not making. I
And
guess.
and some of their stuff is really really good, but you know, like I would prefer to have like most of their stuff be really really good,
Sure.
and just have to wait longer for the really
I
really
agree.
good stuff.
Do you want to
it's fine.
see Jonah Hill and Emma Stone in Maniac?
Only if Emma Stone gets. No, I'm not going to.
Were you gonna say naked?
Oh,
No, I was going the super bad way.
Nude?
If you know anything about their scene in Superbad, then you
It's
know.
been so long since I've seen that. Honestly, I forgot she was in it.
I was gonna say that only if she gets period blood on his leg.
Was that? They were dancing. Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
Oh wait, that's not her though. That's the other girl.
Oh, that's the other girl. Damn
He
it.
hits her
like
in the
headbutts
face.
her or
I
something,
think.
yeah.
He
He's
he
punches
gets
the-
blood on his knuckle, not
he
his leg.
well, he does get on his leg too. Another girl.
that was a different. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
but
different
he
party.
like punches the shit out of Emma
No, he
Stone.
like falls over and like headbutts her. Or
Yeah,
something,
that's
like,
what it
yeah,
is.
he's
That's
drunk.
what it
It's
Yeah.
such a crazy scene.
It's a weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually, not to go way off topic, there was actually a blogger that I follow that posted a picture of herself like bleeding onto her bed, and
Okay.
she lost like so many followers.
Because she had her period.
Yeah, because she had her period.
Oh my God, no, not her period.
You've got to stop your witchy ways, women.
Get over it. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, talk about some sensitive snowflakes. Oh my God,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Guess what? Women bleed from their crotches.
That's how we get babies.
Once
no, I mean,
a
not like
month.
that, but I mean, yeah, it's part of it.
Once
Part of it.
for like a week a month, every month for decades.
That's
It's called
right.
nature.
And you little pussies
Gotta
couldn't
get used to
handle seeing a picture
I
of
think
it
you
or
gotta cut to the
something.
can.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, you need to cut to that.
You couldn't handle it?
Right.
Boo fucking who?
Yep. Agreed.
Go ahead and unsubscribe. You know
I
what?
know.
She doesn't need you. You know
she's
why?
freaking awesome.
She's a strong, powerful woman
That's right.
who
That's
has
right.
to bleed from her crotch once a month for like a week.
Okay. Anyway, moving on
We got new
to
toys.
some more
obviously.
to some more beautiful women that have periods. just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everyone.
Let's move on to our news segment of Screen Source, and yeah,
Hashtag normalized periods.
Hashtag normalize periods. Hashtag get over yourselves, you big babies.
I love periods.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, you don't like period pieces.
Ah, that's a good point. Hey, you know me so well, Stan.
I like it.
Okay, Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels reboot. And Elizabeth Banks is going to be directing it and taking on the role of Bosley.
Nice.
So Naomi Scott, who stars as Jasmine in Disney's upcoming Aladdin remake.
Oh, wow.
British newcomer Ella Balinska and Kristen Stewart are set to star in the new Charlie's Angels reboot.
So which one's going to be in Aladdin? Is the girl in the middle? The girl on the right.
I'm thinking on the right.
The middle.
Oh, the
middle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
honestly
yes.
don't know. I
The producer's
apologize.
doing that.
I
So
trust the producer.
Elizabeth Banks is directing the project. Will also take on the role of Bosley.
TV show or movie?
It is a film.
Oh, nice.
The new story takes the detective agency premise of the original 1976 to 1981 TV series and the 2000 and 2003 movies global with the Townsend Agency. That's Charlie Townsend. The Townsend Agency, now a security and intelligence service that has teams around the world. The movie will focus on one of those teams and the next generation of angels.
Nice.
All right.
I dig it.
So yeah, and Elizabeth Banks also directing it, has a role in it, also wrote the latest draft of the script with Jay Basu, who wrote The Girl in the Spider's Web, working off of earlier drafts by Craig Mazin and Semichellis. I apologize if I mispronounce them. And she's producing it with her husband via their Brownstone Productions.
Nice.
What? And this is set to come out September 27th, 2019.
Cool.
Okay, so around a year.
So about a year from now. So she wrote
Beautiful.
it, is
Beautiful.
directing it, producing it,
Wow.
and has a
Starring
role
in
in
it.
it. Elizabeth
I think
Banks.
she's playing Bosley.
I didn't
she's
know
playing
she did all
Bosley.
of those things. To be
Yeah,
honest
she
with you.
directed. So the last thing she directed, she's going to be in Happy Time Murders.
Yeah.
And she's got a voice role in Lego Movie 2, the second
Yeah,
part. And the last thing she directed was Pitch Perfect 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So she, because I remember she was in the first Pitch Perfect, and then she took over the directing duties for the second one. I don't know. I thought she directed the third one, but maybe
it looks like no. We're hearing no.
Nope, somebody
looks like
else.
she's done a handful of productions.
Yeah.
And
That's
So
pretty
she's got her
sweet.
own.
she directed a short film, Just a Little Heart Attack. Okay, so this isn't new. It's news to me. I didn't know.
I didn't know
that
she
she
did
directed?
that either.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's-
awesome.
that's great, yeah.
Good for her.
I knew she directed Pitch Perfect 2. I didn't realize. I think she produced that one as well.
I think I've seen. She's produced more than.
Yeah, it
she's
looks like in
directed,
Pitch
definitely.
Perfect she was a producer, and then in Pitch Perfect 2 she was a director and producer.
Yeah, and so she and her husband have Brownstone Productions, which is their production company, I
That's cool.
guess.
Okay, is her husband an actor as well? Do we
His
know
name
him?
is Max Handelman. That name does not sound familiar to me. That does not
Handelman.
mean he is not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where is
It looks like
Handelman?
he is a sports writer, film producer, and blogger.
Ah,
Oh,
He
interesting.
wrote a book called Why Fantasy Football Matters. All right.
Ah.
So yeah, he's a little he's disconnected from Hollywood a little bit, but
That's a good thing, I think.
yeah.
so
coming from a
yeah,
different
and
angle.
so it's gonna be Miss Kristen Stewart. There, we all know her, and
She's kind of a hit or miss.
she's gotten. I kind of dig her now. It's like she got free of Twilight, and it turns out she's actually kind of a cool, interesting person.
I think part of it was I think she's always been able to act, and she kind of got that role.
She
thinking,
has.
Yeah, and
She
then,
has.
And then just
she was in Safe Room
yeah,
when she was
good.
12,
She was a girl,
13.
yeah.
Jodie
Oh,
Foster
yeah.
played her mom. She's a
was
good
good.
actor. She always was. Twilight was a machine.
Just terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
It got to her. It got to Pattinson. I mean, it kind of fucked all of them
Yeah,
up.
I always cut her. I know people gave her a lot of. I always cut her some slack because like I've seen her in other things. And I've
And
seen
if
she
you
could
read
do
the
it, she could act.
books, her character was actually
Very
kind
dull.
of like that.
I was going to say, I have
So-
actually said for years, because I have tragically read all of the
I
Twilight
have
books.
as well,
Can't get that
tragically.
time back.
Yeah.
I've seen all the Twilight movies.
I
same
love
story.
periods.
But but yeah, Kristen Stewart played that character in those movies just as it's written in the books.
Exactly as
she's
it's
a
written.
very timid, unsure young woman,
Yep.
and that's how it comes across until she becomes a vampire, and then she's a badass. But
Yep.
regardless, I think she's a very interesting performer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the young lady who is.
She's in Power Rangers. I know that. She's
Oh, that's where I know her from.
Is
Okay.
she-
Yes, she
Okay.
was in.
Ranger?
She it doesn't say, but she was in Power Rangers, and she's going to be playing Jasmine in the new
Nice.
Aladdin, which is pretty cool. She's
Right.
also on Terra Nova.
Okay. I don't know what that
I
is.
don't-
She wasn't bad in.
yeah,
I
I
actually
remember
kind of
that.
liked that Power Rangers movie,
I
which
didn't
is very
see it. And
surprising
It was
to me.
fun.
This other young lady, this is her big break. She's only been in 2 TV projects. One episode of Midsummer Murders, which is a very adorable UK show,
Yeah.
long-running show.
Yeah.
And then she was also in an independent film called A Modern Tale.
Yeah.
So this other girl, this is like
This is a new. This will be a big
her
breakout.
Big
This is her
break for
breakout
her.
role. Good for
yeah.
her.
So I always dug Charlie's Angels. I dug.
I like the first movie. The second
The
one.
second one was a little, but the first one was super
The second
fun.
It
one
was
had the
fun.
same
Yeah,
cast?
It was so much fun.
It did.
Did they ever
but-
have a woman of color playing one of Charlie's Angels like in the original 70s show?
No, it was all white ladies.
Oh,
it was all white
well,
ladies. So
this
the-
is awesome
So
then.
the reboots was Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu, and they were
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was
And
great.
then what's his face was Bosley
Bill Murray.
in the second one. He
Oh,
was
they
Bosley's
switched.
half brother. In the first one, it was
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac, and Bernie Mac passed away.
Yes.
So they brought Bill Murray in.
Gotcha.
And Demi Moore was the bad angel.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes, the naughty angel.
They're both BMs.
Oh, that's terrible. That's really
I want you
bad.
to think about what you've done.
Yeah.
You just think about it.
It's just really
But
bad.
regardless, God damn it. But this is
This is gonna be a problem.
this is cool. This
Wow,
is cool. And these ladies are younger
That's what I was thinking of
even
immediately.
than the reboot with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
They were all
Is that these
30
they could all
something.
pass
Yeah.
for teenagers if they wanted
Yeah,
to.
Is
Sure.
Kristen Stewart that young?
Kristen Stewart's in her 20s.
She's in her
I think.
20s, so I'm saying
Still?
so these are 20 somethings, maybe teens. I don't know the age of the other.
I feel like she's
Ladies.
probably in her late 20s.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just Google it. Kristen Stewart. Click on Kristen Stewart. Find her.
Kristen Stewart.
Because
Just-
Al-
just out of
I don't
Alexa.
think she's 30 yet.
Alexa, how old is Kristen Stewart? 28.
Okay.
It's very good.
I'm correct.
I don't need any more. Shut up.
I knew that she was like very close in age to myself because she was like probably in her earlier 20s when she did the Twilight movies.
Okay.
Like late teens, early 20s. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah, I forget it. That was an expansive. How many movies? 4 movies or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So,
It's
Yeah,
a lot, and
it
it
was
took
a
a lot
lot.
of time to
Didn't
film
see-
it.
yeah.
And, yeah. So
but
Yeah.
this looks fun. Like I you know what? I
I'm
know
into
that I'm into it too. And I think that like the movies with Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz and all those people, I think they were actually really, really fun.
they were fun.
they were. Yeah.
I liked them a
I
lot.
liked the vibe. I thought they were they were a little silly. And
Yeah.
oh God, who directed? Was it like McGee,
McGee,
or
yeah.
somebody? I think directed both of them. So there was a particular silly tone.
Sure.
I think it
Yeah.
worked.
I
for
think
the
it worked.
Most part.
Yeah.
Like I said, the second one was a little much.
It
but,
was-
yeah. I think it's in the first one. They hit. They hit it
Yeah.
kind of square.
Yeah.
Right on.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on to our next topic.
You the man.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
we got producers.
Keeping us on task.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
next?
Alf.
All right,
That
Alf.
is me. So, our favorite alien from Melmac.
Yeah, what's
is,
going on with Alf?
Warner Brothers Television is in the early stages of developing a reboot of the classic sitcom. And Alf, as we know, stands for Alien Lifeform. No writer is yet attached to the project, which would again explore the misadventures of the titular cat-eating Alf.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Just sort of the highlights here. It ran for 4 seasons. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
And it's very early on, so we don't really know too much. One idea that has reportedly been discussed for the reboot, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the actual, that's very controversial, the end of Alf, how the series ended.
How did it end?
I don't
The
remember.
series ended with Alf so he finally gets a message to his home, and he's scheduled to be picked up. So there's a whole thing. There's a chase. There's government agents. Like it gets serious.
Okay.
So he ends up out in this field, and he's surrounded by agents. And this is like 30 years old, guys. And they're closing in on him. And then from straight up top, boom, light
Spotlight
on him.
Okay.
And then he looks up, and it's everyone's like going crazy. And then we're done.
Ah.
And that was the season cliffhanger. And then got the axe.
That was it.
They were
Wow.
doing that in the hopes that, we're going to come back for number 5. And,
I always thought he'd be
no.
an episode of like X-Files or something, but they
So,
never did it.
so
That would be a
so
good episode.
one idea that has reportedly been discussed for the reboot would involve Alf emerging from Area 51, where he has been held captive since the original series finale,
That'd be cool.
and observing how much the world has changed since that time.
So that's not a reboot. That's a continuation.
I like it.
So yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
and
really
then
like it.
Alf he crash lands in the suburbs, lives with the Tanner's family, and they have hijinks.
Hijinks
So I think it
ensue.
would probably I'm sure it would be a different family if
Yeah.
they went that route.
Do you guys remember? Was it Greg the Bunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it reminded me of that, but it came a little bit after.
Greg the
Alf.
Bunny was after.
Greg the Bunny
Alf.
was like in 90s, like
Yeah,
Late 90s,
yeah.
yeah.
So maybe not a little bit, a lot of it after. But
I'm curious if they're going to reboot it, because one of the things that was so strangely delightful about the original Alf was this was a puppet dude. It was the whole set had open floors, and they had to
Right.
choreograph all the actors' movements because they had puppeteers.
yeah, super cool.
I know-
using- So I'm wondering, like, are they doing a? Are they gonna have a puppet again? I love a
They
puppet.
better.
I would love that.
I love a puppet.
There-
I love it. I love it. I love
There's
it.
no way they're gonna like CG this or
No.
It almost seems unnecessary, especially for a
Yeah.
television show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Do a
Yeah,
puppet.
yeah,
Yeah,
No, they're
go
gonna do
with-
puppets.
I really hope they do. That'd
And
be great.
I bet after the return of like Happy Time Murders, people are gonna really start like, oh, we don't gotta just do
Puppets are cool.
Muppet movies
Yeah.
anymore. We can bring them back into
Yeah.
the limelight.
And I like anything. I like puppets because I like things that are practical. I like things that are actually
Yeah,
there that
sure,
the
yeah.
actors can interact with.
Exactly.
That's why the Ninja Turtles movie, that original
The
one,
original.
has
So
my
good.
heartstrings.
Yeah.
So good.
Because
Labyrinth, Dark Crystal,
Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
all the Muppet
The-
movies.
like he was always one of the most interesting. He got like a squished penis face, kind of. Alf.
Yeah, strange.
Oh
Uh,
my
a
gosh,
strange
this episode is so
Sure.
phallic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
kind of like
a
Gonzo had the
thing.
big old banana.
His
curved
was very
one.
curved.
He's very gonzo, but like
Sure.
almost like a little bit of a pig snout
Now
too.
I'm gonna just put it out there because I watched the original Alf show and I watched the Alf cartoon,
Yep,
which
yep,
was
yep.
Alf
forgot
on
about the
on
cartoon.
his homeland.
Yeah,
so there were
it was
other.
great.
It was his family. It was a whole thing.
I wonder if that's canon.
I actually don't know. I don't know. I just remember watching both of them
Yeah.
as a small person, and I had a strange crush on Alf.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
part
In
of
what
it,
ways?
it's not.
He does
It
have some
wasn't
nice hair,
It,
I
it
will
was.
say that.
He has the swoopy hair, and I'm a sucker for a
Nice.
swoopy hair.
He's got Trump hair.
Whoever now, Trump's hair is way worse.
No,
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 he
no,
has
no.
he has like 80s
He
swoop.
has actually.
Sure, yeah.
He has
He
like
has
80s
It looks like a
though.
flock
Yeah.
of seagulls,
It's
kind
not
of.
go.
a comb over; it's
No.
actual hair.
So I
That's
think
like cool
what
guy.
part of it actually comes down to whoever was the voice performer for Alf, and I don't know
Sure.
who that was. I have no idea. But whomsoever that was. And I was a kiddo when this was on, so I had a crush on the voice of
Sure.
Alf, whoever it was.
Nice.
Paul Fusco.
Well, there you go. It's like a weird. It's like I didn't want to like make out with Alf.
Right.
It wasn't a physical thing. Just that guy's voice combined with it just worked for me. And so yeah, I had like a little.
It got you
little-
going.
I had a little kid.
Was it the nose? Because it was the nose for me. That's what got me going.
Right.
You know
And
what?
what year?
It's okay.
What years was the
Oh.
show on?
Wait, he's a puppeteer and voice of Alf on Mr. Robot.
What?
What? I don't
Season
remember.
2,
Oh,
episode
he was.
6?
Alf makes an appearance in Mr. Robot season 2 on the television, and I thought it was like a rerun,
Oh my god!
but it looks like they actually
filmed it?
Alf.
Holy
Nice.
crap!
I
gotta
remember
watch that.
seeing that. That was awesome.
Wow.
So
Cool.
what years was the original show on?
Yeah. What does it say?
86 to 90.
86 to 90.
Right. And it looks like this puppeteer has done a lot of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
What
this
has he
is
done to
this
the
is
O'Reilly
this is
factor?
pre-teen. This is me as a child.
Hollywood
This is
Squares.
me, like I was born in '87, so
I am very
was, like,
old.
a child. I was like a toddler.
You were a baby, but I was elementary school. This is like 8-10 years
Yeah.
old.
yeah
So-
prime age. to
so-
be
so
watching
Did
when
you
I
get the
s-
humor? Do you know if you?
I loved the show. I mean, I
Okay.
loved
Yeah,
Alf.
me
I
too.
loved watching it. I think it was one of those. This was the 80s sitcoms that they would sort of layer in, so they'd have stuff for the kids, but then I'm
yeah.
sure there were jokes for adults that I
Sure.
just did not
Oh yeah.
pick
Yeah.
up on.
Yeah,
I would assume they were there. I don't know,
cool.
but
Yeah, I do remember. There's a lot of that's 80s television.
Yeah,
as a
I
whole,
watched,
just
you
a lot
know,
of innuendos.
Alf,
and-
Mr. Belvedere. Definitely watched some Growing Pains.
I liked his
Silver Spoons.
hijinks with the cats.
The
It was
cats. He's always trying to
funny.
eat
yeah,
the
he's always trying to eat a
cats.
cat.
But it
It's
was
great.
like it wasn't like there was no. It wasn't violence. It wasn't violent. It wasn't vulgar.
It was almost a Wile E. Coyote.
It was a
he
Wile
was
E-
always getting he was always getting foiled.
he was
never-
always trying to eat a cat, and he couldn't
never
eat.
got
He
it,
never
yeah.
got to eat the cat. So
Awesome.
it was funny. It was played
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
silliness.
It reminds me of like
Although
Gumby. Did you guys ever watch Gumby?
I totally watched Gumby.
I did.
Yeah, same time period. I
Yeah.
think.
So
yeah.
it was a light, silly, and what a weird premise for a show.
It really
Really?
is.
Really?
It's weird.
I kind of like that though. They were like experimenting with things, and it was
Yeah.
NBC,
And it
you know?
worked. So
Yeah.
they're like,
It
go
worked.
ahead.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
He's like a cultural icon.
there
kind
were
of.
a lot of
Sure.
really interesting, edgy sitcoms on in the 80s going into the 90s. Golden Girls,
Sure.
a show about 4 older ladies, and they get down.
Sexually active old
Sexually
ladies.
active, and that show dealt with gays and like homophobia. It dealt with ageism. It dealt with racism. I mean, there were 4 white ladies, so it was white, but they still, and also they were not that old, but they made them kind of look that. But
Right,
whatever,
right.
they were getting down. Blanche is my girl. Blanche had lovers coming out
Amazing,
of like left and right, and they all were. They were all sexually active
Yeah.
women, and they were talked about it and they joked about it, and I mean, and this show, Alf. Is it what? Like a
Right.
puppet alien who comes and lives with
In
and
the
eats
suburbs.
cats and what? I don't even. It's
Yeah.
weird.
It's fun. Good for you.
Small Wonder. That was another
Oh right, the
Little robot girl.
Little robot girl.
little
Yeah.
Vicky, little weird Vicky the robot.
I guess it'd be an android.
Yeah.
I'm too young.
Webster,
Oh.
white couple, middle class, upper middle
Adopts
class.
the '80s knew what
Adopts
they
a
were
tiny
doing,
black
you know?
child.
Yeah.
Different strokes.
Different strokes.
Rich white dude adopts 2 black brothers. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it was an interesting time. A lot of things happened
Facts
on
of
TV.
life.
Facts of life.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't necessarily
I
expect.
remember reading a thing about Facts of Life being like one of the early, like they dealt with like body image and things like that. Like
Absolutely.
like before it was really like a thing.
Loved the Facts of Life.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to watch all these shows.
There was a recurring character. Well, Clooney was on that show. George Clooney was on the Facts of
Oh,
Life, like
yeah.
first season, I think.
How
There-
old was he?
He was
young.
young.
He was in his 20s, like very young.
Jeez.
There was a
Baby Clooney.
there was a recurring character who is really funny. She's a stand-up. She's a comedian, and she has, I believe, cerebral palsy, and she plays Blair on Facts of Life. She plays her cousin. And Blair was the very
Oh,
put
right,
together
right,
kind
right.
of southern blonde, whatever. And this is her cousin, and she was very sassy and funny. And this is a person with cerebral palsy on a mainstream primetime sitcom.
Right,
And
right.
she had a
In the
recurring
80s.
role in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And when did we see somebody else who was a differently abled or disabled person? Breaking Bad.
Right.
Sure.
That's
Right.
so true.
Like
wow.
if you like things
There's, like,
happened on
Malcolm in the
TV,
Middle. Got in the wheelchair.
things but like things happened in the 80s and then they didn't happen for a long time again until we started. And I'm just saying, I think the 80s was
Yeah,
a really interesting time on TV. A lot of interesting, cool, edgy stuff that we don't really think of as being edgy until you start thinking about it. And like Golden Girls, 4 middle-aged ladies getting down.
Sure. Jessica, what else is edgy in the news?
Well, you know, I love Keanu Reeves.
Who
Yeah.
doesn't?
And there is going to be, so I guess Stars Network, it says that this article says that they've nearly broke the internet in January when they announced a TV series based in the world of the John Wick films. And it's going to be called The Continental, which is the hotel for assassins that was featured in John Wick. I think it was.
It was in both of
It
them,
was in
but
both of them, but it was
predominantly in the
prominent
first.
It was in the first one? No, the
Predominantly,
second
there
one.
was a huge fight scene in the first one, wasn't there?
I thought it was more in the second one.
Maybe. I'm wrong.
Anyway, so it's gonna be
Is he going to be in it?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Well, it does
He might show
mention. Just
up.
go through each of those topics really quick, Jess. Just the headliners.
So they're going to begin filming next year.
Mm-hmm.
You've never met this continental guest before. So it says
okay.
the John Wick films are full of colorful assassins who check in and out of the Continental. It will be someone. So the star will be someone we've never met before in the films, even though John Wick 3 has not yet come out.
Okay.
And the director of the trilogy will direct the first episode. Keanu Reeves is expected to appear. So he will appear, but he won't be the star. And possibly Ian McShane will also appear, which is awesome. He's the bomb.
Nice.
And
You better not take him away from filming the Deadwood movie. I'm just saying.
And it will run parallel to John Wick.
Okay.
So it'll be parallel timeline.
Interesting.
It retains the Continental retains the John Wick creative team, which is awesome because the John Wick films are awesome.
And the reason it exists is because that this team is like stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
It was Keanu Reeves choreography team from I think the Matrix days. He just really kept this really tight knit community. And also, if you know anything about Keanu Reeves, he's badass in life and on
he's
screen.
a wonderful,
wonderful person.
Like
Yeah.
he's
Great
had
person.
he had some tragedy in his life, but he's a great guy, very generous.
Yeah.
Gave his like salary from the Matrix to the stunt crew. Like,
Yeah,
dude
yeah.
is a class act. He's a classy
No
dude.
kidding.
Maybe he's not the greatest
He's like
actor in the
giving up
world.
his
I don't even
seats,
care. Yeah.
on the subway.
He's a fantastic human, and I support him. And that's awesome that they got the team like to work on.
To keep them together. And
Yeah.
like
Another project.
God, this series is so good. I keep saying like, you know, when I think about 007 and Mission Impossible and other, this fits into those genres. And I hope it's like kind of next to take off.
Yep.
We're only 2 movies in. We know we have a third one coming out. We've already got set photos. And then with this star show on top of it, which I think
I can't lose another dog though, guys. Like I really can't do it. Like if you make me lose another dog, like I'm not gonna watch it.
That's
'cause
valid.
It's just
No, that's
too
valid.
hard. It's too hard for me. Don't do it to me.
That's valid. It's an emotional process.
Right.
It's hard.
I love dogs. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That's cool.
I think that
So it's filming
Starting next year.
So it's gonna be. It
it's
won't be
gonna
until
2020.
be out in
2020
2020
at the
probably.
earliest, yeah. All right.
But it, I
okay,
think it's gonna be good because it has the same creative team, and you know, it's a good premise. I think it's interesting.
Star seems like a good place for it too, because we're not, you know, they're almost on the level of Showtime and HBO. They're next in tier, I'd say, as far as production.
Yeah. The money that they have available to put into
To
projects
put in something
is,
like this,
yeah.
and these films cost some money. They're not cheap, especially the second one. Like it really expanded the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good.
Cool.
yeah, it's
I'm
fantastic.
into it.
We were actually when
Continental.
we went to New York like a year ago. We went to the place in Central Park where they're like, it's a chase scene and it's kind of like under this tunnel thing. We were like, oh my god, this was in John Wick 2.
Yeah, it was on accident. We immediately recognized it. It was
That's
super
Yeah.
cool.
And then like of course Lawrence Fishburne was in the second one, and I really hope he comes back in the third John Wick or makes an appearance in this show too.
It just clicked for me that
He's
they're
the
both in the
best.
Matrix. How
Yep.
did that not
Yep.
click for me
Yep.
when I was watching it?
Love me some Lawrence Fishburne.
one
And he
of the
plays kind of a
Uh,
Matrixy character in the second one.
He
too.
does.
A little, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, what else is going on in the news? Coming soon now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before.
Hey,
Tomatoes.
That's right, all that energy at 8:30 p.m. So what we do every week is we
Yeah.
talk about the newest film or television shows that are coming out, and then we assign what we believe the Rotten Tomato scores are going to be, and then we take a look at the scores the following week. So last
Boy.
week, what came out? Stan?
Mission Impossible Fallout.
Huh?
Yeah. And then Teen Titans Go to the movies. Making it.
And making
Television series.
Yes. So we thought
Wow.
Mission Impossible Fallout was going to get an 87. Looks like we shot low on all these. It has a 97.
Right? It was
Holy
really good.
moly.
You saw it. You're the only one at the
Yes.
table that
Yeah.
saw it.
Hector
I'll
saw it.
talk about
Okay.
it on the thing.
Hector's given us 2 thumbs up.
Two
Yeah,
thumbs up
yeah,
from
yeah.
our
Liked it?
producer.
Okay. Would you agree with the 97?
A plus.
It's
Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Like percentage, but it was really good.
Yeah, it sounds like we're getting. Well, we have a segment in the show later on. It sounds like you're going to go a little bit more in
I'll
depth.
talk about it. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
For sure.
I will. Well, I also want to point out, and I feel very happy about this. You know what? I'll point it out later on. I'll point it out when you talk about it later on.
Cool.
Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which is a you know a little bit of a deviation from the Teen Titans original series.
This is the one that's the most popular, definitely. This iteration.
I
so
can't believe it did that well.
I can.
Wow.
65. So
Okay.
89% is the actual. All right.
I can see that just because.
Did
kids,
you see it
it's
also,
aimed
Hector?
for kids.
Yeah.
Did you?
Hector, what grade would you have given it? A D.
Okay, that's what
He
I
likes our
thought.
65.
That's what I thought. I think it's just the fact. I knew it was gonna be popular no matter what.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know about the scores or whatever. I mean, quality of the
Clearly
movie, but
for
I
a
think it's
younger
just-
demographic.
I think it's aimed for who it's aimed at, and
Yeah.
that's I think that's probably why
That makes sense.
I am actually interested. I liked the trailer.
That makes sense.
I have
I
no
know.
interest whatsoever.
I'm
I know
yeah.
nothing.
But that's fine.
I know nothing.
And-
They switched out the comic book stories for just goofy kid hijinks.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's very like meta too, which I think is
I
interesting
have
for
much
kids.
more interest in that trailer that we watched last
Titans.
episode with
Sure,
for
yeah.
Titans.
Yeah. See, that's my jam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Making it.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about
I
this
want to
one?
watch it.
I'm so excited
It
to
looks
watch this. I
good.
haven't
I wanna
watched
watch
it yet,
it.
but I love Offerman. I love Polar. I love
Yeah.
them together. They've been releasing these funny little ads, which is the two of them doing crafting puns at each other.
Yeah. Can you explain what making it is?
So it's a craft competition show. So they've brought in craft makers, DIYers of all different kinds. So when you think DIY, it's not necessarily just decoupage or gluing things or whatever. It's
Right.
anything. It's carpentry. It's electric.
Macrame.
It's
probably.
it's fabric arts, it's
Cool.
jewelry making, it's all anything that you do that's DIY with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And they've brought these people together, and they've got some people like one of the judges for it's a competition show. So one of the people who's a judge, I think, helps run Etsy, the shop, the online
Very cool.
crafting
That sounds like a
site.
smart person for this.
And Nick Offerman, I'm a huge fan of theirs. Nick Offerman is a woodworker,
Right,
so
yeah.
he has a woodworking business in California. So he is a DIYer.
Yeah.
Amy Poehler, not so much, as she has said in these funny little like pun-outs. Like she doesn't really make stuff, but she loves stuff.
Crafts.
She loves crafts. She's into them.
She loves to make stuff.
She likes
Sure.
the idea of making stuff. She doesn't really do it as much,
Yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
supportive of the concept.
well, not only
and-
that, like like NBC was probably way more behind the show, and they're like, oh,
Sure.
Amy Poehler's gonna be on it. She's probably producing it.
Yeah,
Too.
so they're kind of the hosts, and Offerman like knows how to do a lot of stuff, but Amy Poehler's like, I don't know, but I'm excited 'cause I like stuff.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It looks really fun. It looks really uplifting. It's a competition show, but it's not like dramatic Project Runway where like you
Yeah.
leave the runway. It doesn't. I think people will probably get
With
eliminated.
that same.
It's just
Dude,
not.
right.
It's not that heavy. They're making stuff. She's wearing overalls. Come on, guys.
We
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
this was gonna get an
Fun.
80%.
Cute.
It has 100% right now.
It looks,
That's great.
my
It
God.
just
I think it was about
started-
out of like 20 critical reviews
Wow.
or something.
Yeah, it
That's
just
crazy.
started like
Yeah.
airing a couple days ago, but it looks delightful.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was like, I can't gauge these things. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? They could
I
get
don't
on
know.
there and could just
Well,
tank.
here's why
It looks
I think
fun.
it probably got 100% is because they have these really fun personalities,
Yeah.
Sure.
and a lot
Sure.
of these other types of shows. I mean, I don't know. I hate Banks. What's her name?
Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks. She does she does the modeling one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care for that.
Yeah.
I always like any kind if it's gonna be a reality show and it's gonna be a competition show. I just like it when the people have to like make things, do things. I like cooking shows. I kind of like Project Runway because they sew,
I
they're
love
crafting, they're
that one,
drawing.
We love Project Runway.
This looks like that same vein. It just looks fun, and DIY as a culture is huge right now. Just such a
I think Sci-Fi has a show like
Yeah.
this that's cosplay centered.
they do a cosplay one. They also do a makeup.
I saw the
fest.
makeup one.
Yeah,
There's
I've never seen
a
the cosplay
one on
one.
Netflix. I,
love
don't know if it's a
that.
Netflix original, but it's a body art, body
Oh,
spray.
body
Yeah,
art.
that's
I love
painting?
that one.
Yeah, body
That's it,
painting.
right? That's
no,
the
that's
one.
a different
Oh,
one.
it's a
There's a
different one.
body
Oh, wow.
painting one, and there's like a special effects makeup one that Sci-Fi was doing.
wow.
I mean, anything like that where
They're fun.
you're seeing people's skill and
Their
artistry.
art,
Yeah.
their creativeness.
It's
is
sort of silly
wonderful.
to judge it and eliminate, but whatever, that's
Right,
fine. Do
right.
whatever. I don't care. I just
Sure.
like to see people making things. I think that's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Apparently, so does everyone else.
And Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler are just so
They're
funny.
great
yeah,
together.
I'm sure most people just tuned in just for that.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Watch
They
them.
can make
and-
anything funny, really.
Yeah.
Anything.
Wa-
so.
watch
yeah.
them being sassy and funny with each other, and then maybe learn how to decoupage something. I don't
It's
know.
fun to see
Yeah,
how their like
heck yeah.
relationship
How
has
to
grown.
solve.
How to macrame something. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to
Yeah.
learn that.
Yeah.
So.
So, did you watch any this week? Let us know. Otherwise, what's coming next week? We have coming soon now with pre-tomatoes,
Tomatoes.
which always comes after.
Post
Post
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
That's right. So let's look at the following films and or television shows. We got The Spy Who Dumped Me. Our producer has been so excited for this for like years. I think when you first heard it about pre-production, you were so excited. We got Disney's new Christopher Robin.
Oh, with Ewan. I love
with
Ewan
Ewan,
McGregor.
the most interesting name.
You're
And man,
gem.
Okay.
and The Darkest Minds from the
we
producers
saw
of
that,
Stranger Things.
We watched
and
the trailer.
Arrival. Yeah, we watched that trailer, which there was a couple of them.
Ooh. Ooh.
And so it looks like just filmed this week as far as the big things.
I like
There are
these, I
some
like.
things in television coming back and some other noteworthy
Right.
things, but these are the kind of the big guys.
Mm.
So, are you guys excited for any of these? First off,
Yeah.
I want to see The Spy Who Dumped Me, but it's one of those like matinee views or something. Like I'm gonna get some girlfriends.
Yeah.
And all those.
Fun.
It looks funny.
It looks fun.
Kate McKinnon is. I love her. I
Yeah.
love her in anything and everything. She's brilliantly funny. Just so she's, I support her, and I really kind of want to see it just for her. But
Sure.
it looks funny. They have a good
They have a good
What's the
kind of
other-
rapport.
Mila
between
Kunis.
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Mila
Yeah.
Kunis.
look. It just
She's good. She's in the Bad Moms movies. She's funny.
she's
you know,
she's got pretty decent
she's
timing.
she's got comedy chops. And
Yeah,
she's got
but I
comedy
feel like
experience.
if you're up against Kate McKinnon, you better know what you're doing.
well, I think
Yeah.
she's a good straight man just
Yeah.
for that. I mean, yeah, so
that's what I'm thinking.
Straight woman.
Straight woman.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't know I think about it. Did you see this, Hector? You did.
Is it is
Early
it,
screening. How'd you feel about it?
Oh God, is it terrible?
Well, he
Okay.
C. He gives it a C.
All right. I'm gonna do that.
What's
I'm gonna-
the? I'm
gonna
sorry.
start
Say it
reading-
again. Sandia Film Journal, our
Sandia
producer,
Film
who writes about film.
I-
So
no, I'm gonna
I'm,
go.
I'm gonna be
go
honest with you,
read 'em,
Hector.
yeah.
I'm not gonna read your review until I see the movie. I will not allow you to influence me.
I kind of think like this is one that I'll rent like later on
Sure.
and just like by
Sure.
myself at
You know when
home,
I would go see
which is
this?
fine.
$5 Tuesdays.
Boom.
Yep.
Five that some
Or like if it's comes to the $2 movie theater,
Boom.
like
I'm
totally.
gonna get it with
fine.
a $5 footlong. I'm gonna sneak one in.
get it in there.
$10.
yeah.
Call it a night.
Yeah, it's a
Boom.
whole that's a good $10 day.
Yeah, so
Right.
it looks it looks funny.
Christopher Robin. I actually didn't end up watching the full length trailer.
Oh, I
I
haven't
did. I don't
seen the
really know.
trailer at all.
I'm warring with myself about this.
Okay.
On the one hand, they got the original voice actors.
That's
very
really
true.
cool.
Yeah.
And it's Pooh and Tigger and Piglet. And
Oh,
I love them
love
so
them.
much. But I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
I kind of don't care. But they look so freaking cute.
They look so cute.
I think I read that they're expecting 30 million on the opening weekend, which is pretty good. Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's some high. Okay.
It's not too
Well, I
bad.
mean, it's
For
a
Disney, it's not
kid-friendly-
huge, but
it's gonna be it's aimed at a nostalgic vibe for adults.
Yeah.
Take your kids to
Take
it.
your
I'm sure.
kids.
I'm
looks
gonna go,
cute.
guys. I love Winnie the Pooh. Oh,
I wake up with
That's
a
who-
song in my head
That
some days.
that honestly
So
is like that. I think that's
Winnie the
exactly who
Pooh.
they're targeting
Winnie
is people
the
that have that
Pooh.
have that
Little tummy all
reaction.
stuffed
Yeah.
with
Yes.
fluffy.
Ewan McGregor, I think, is a great choice.
He's pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting premise, I think.
And
Very.
so there was another film that was like the true kind of based on the true creation of the
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah, what was that one called? It's who wrote Winnie the Pooh?
A.A. Milne.
That wasn't the title then.
No, that's the name of that's the author name.
Yeah,
But
that was the name of the movie. I keep forgetting.
What is it called?
Our producer's gonna look it up. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
doesn't-
Christopher Robin.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
Christopher
Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Goodbye,
And that came out
Christopher
last
Robin.
year.
And that's more the actual history of the writing of the books and
Right.
I bet that was an English film.
yeah,
I think it
Yeah.
had a
What's
lot
his
of
name?
British actors.
British
in it.
actors.
I forget his name.
Actually, he may not be British. He may be Scottish.
It's Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason, he's Scottish, but I think he was playing a Brit.
Irish.
Margot Robbie.
Irish.
So yeah, and so
I
that
love
was
Donald Gleason.
more like the true-ish, I think, story of the writing of the books, because the author, he wrote them about his son. Christopher Robin was based on his son. So this Christopher Robin movie is not based on any true anything. This is just imagining the real Christopher Robin has grown up, and these were his imaginary friends, and then they show back up. So it's kind of like Hook. Makes
That's
me
a good point.
Harvey.
Yeah. Similar.
Oh
me
my
think of that.
God, I love Hook. Okay.
I don't know.
You're convincing me even more.
It looks cute, but honestly, I'm probably not going to bother.
I don't know.
And then The Darkest Minds, which is based off of a book series, I believe.
This is what we talked about, because
Yeah.
we watched a little trailer, and it was not the trailer we thought it was going to be, because there's a couple out there. It's sort of X-Men-esque,
Right.
based on some young adult novels. Looks pretty cool. I'm into it. Again, probably Amanda Stenberg is the lead girl, and she was Rue in the Hunger Games.
Yes,
This
she
is-
was so tiny.
She was little, and now she's a grown, beautiful young lady, and she was very talented. She was very good in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a little nugget. She was what, 8, 10?
Did they call her Nugget
Probably
too?
8.
I don't know. I think that was
I feel like that's in
me.
my head. But there seemed to be this is going to be a kind of a romance between her and that white guy.
That white guy,
That
but
one
but
white
but
guy.
just the one white guy.
He's kind of the only white person that we see.
Lot of young folks of color, a
That's
lot
true.
of new faces. Looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
It's
know
hard
either.
to tell.
There's that shot in the trailer of the white kid, and he's doing it, and it looks like Magneto of like the.
that
and
part
he's like,
I like because
I was
I
like,
just love the X-Men and
Yeah.
But they're not. This is not the X-Men. This is
Nothing
a
to do with
totally different.
It
group
just
of
seems similar.
kids. There's some kind of Eve was telling us about some kind of plague or something that has
and
caused.
they're all being
the kids are being rounded up
right,
because
right,
they've
right.
got
Something like that, yeah.
powers.
Yep.
I don't know. It looks kind of cool. It looks kind of fun.
Yep.
I don't know.
It looks fun. Stranger Things and Arrival are both great. So
Sure.
I mean,
That's true.
Sure.
I,
Yes,
I
yes.
have high hopes. So
True.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to remember if I heard any early things about it, or any early hype or anything. But
Yeah.
anyways, let's go through these and give some scores. So
Sure.
The Spy Who Dumped Me. I expect
I'm
low
cheating.
scores.
I'm cheating because I'm going by
You're gonna go
You're
by
going by
Hector's
Hector?
review
C.
You're gonna give it a C.
Whatever that is numerically.
numerically.
That's a 75.
75.
That's an average
okay.
C.
I'm down with.
I'm gonna
I don't
go
think
lower.
it's gonna go. I don't think.
I don't think it's gonna do very well, guys. I think it's gonna be like a 70.
You
Kate
know what
McKinnon-
though? I feel like
she's not-
critics like Kate McKinnon.
They
She
do.
no, because there wasn't she in one just recently, and it kind of came and went.
flopped.
What was it?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
what I'm
I
trying to
think it
I can't remember.
flopped. I'm gonna say 70, like just a
So
straight
70.
70.
Sure,
I'll
so
say
I can go with
75.
70.
75, 70. Okay.
What are you
We can
thinking?
go in somewhere in the middle. 72.
Yeah.
Okay,
70,
yeah.
72. Sure.
Sure.
All right, The Spy Who Dumped Me at 72.
Okay.
I think it could be fun.
Sure.
Could be. I mean, the
It's
stuff
not
I
gonna-
saw
silly.
looked
It's
fun.
not gonna
but
be like critically
No, it's gonna
acclaimed.
be
or-
silly.
No.
I mean, it's silly.
Christopher Robin. It's Disney. They notoriously, I don't think, have done good with their live action, but this isn't like the rest of their live actions, right?
This is different.
It's a very different tone, and
I feel like Ewan
very
tends
separate.
to like do very well, so I don't know. I'm gonna give it like an 80.
who's directing this? That would
People
actually
do
be a
like
good question.
Pooh. People like Winnie the Pooh.
I'll let you take it.
Yeah, they
I
do.
know, I
They
like
do
Winnie the
love
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
I
And
do.
this looks adorable.
Who's your
Yeah.
favorite? Who's your favorite of the Pooh's Corner friends? Who's
It's
your favorite?
Tigger.
Tigger.
Because I feel like
I say
Tigger.
Tigger.
I
Because it's like, who do you like?
identify with Eeyore.
Okay.
I'm an Eeyore.
Sure.
So sure, I like.
Look
I
at you,
love
Bridget. Are you a
Eeyore.
piglet?
A little bit.
A little bit of a
I think
piglet.
it's so
A
cute.
little bit of a worrier.
Okay,
I worry.
okay.
Yeah.
But I have my Tigger phases. I
They-
think Tigger was my favorite in terms of just watching. I
Yeah,
loved
sure.
Tigger.
Yes, yes.
They did a
But
good
I
job
think
with
I
the
identify with Piglet.
character built. They got the owl. They had the rabbit.
Kanga.
Kanga
Yeah,
and
Kanga.
Roo.
Kanga and Roo.
I feel like they had like a little mole rat thing too. I don't know if that really came around. That might have been just like in the reboot.
yeah.
Mark Forster is the gentleman
Oh, okay.
who
Right.
is directing this film.
Yeah.
And what else has he done?
He did the one with
Quantum
Sean Connery.
Quantum of Solace. Ugh, that
Quantum
was
of
not
Solace?
good.
Yeah, no, he did the one Finding Forrester. I really like that one.
Okay, didn't actually
Okay,
watch
I
well-
that.
think it's kind of hit or miss.
Okay, so
Okay.
I don't know.
I want to give this like what's a
80.
B? Yeah, like an 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think-
Last
I think
week we
80.
shot low, and this week we're shooting kind of low again. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's okay.
Yeah, 80 is good, I think.
The Darkest Minds.
That could be good.
These are confusing. These are hard ones.
They
this
are.
No, they
time.
are. They are.
Ooh,
These aren't like
'Cause it's
obvious
kinda- well,
big
I mean, like-
hitters.
No, they're
Well,
not.
Christopher Robin. Yeah, it's either gonna be hit or miss.
Yeah.
People are gonna get it or they're not. I kind of feel the same way with Darkest Minds.
Mm-hmm.
know.
Darkest Minds, I'll bet does like high 70s,
Yeah.
maybe low
Okay.
80s.
I would
78?
say like 75 for that
Certainly
one.
looks well done.
It
Yeah.
does look well
Yeah.
done. It
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
like a well-made film.
And like
77, maybe.
that they put some thought into this story.
Yeah, 77,
So
78.
specific. 78%.
There we go.
79.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. So 78's the middle then.
78.
I would
78.
say.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Cool. 78 the
But,
Darkest
but
Minds.
I hope all of them do better.
I do too. I hope
Well,
they
that's
all
the
do
thing
better
is,
than
like-
we do.
It's like because sometimes we're like, this is whatever, but these are like all three of these. None of them are, none of them are super obvious
Yeah.
hits. None of
Right.
them are super obvious crap fests.
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it could really go either way based
Yeah.
on trailers and what.
Yeah.
you
One
know,
of my one guy I really like hearing talk about film, Augustine Rios, he said something that really kind of struck home with me. He's like honestly, I don't want any of these movies to do bad. Like I want there to be good movies. I just want to watch good movies all
Yeah.
the time.
Yes, I agree.
And so we don't want them to fail, but
No.
they're
Although-
inevitably
they
going to
all-
fail.
Although there are some
Potential.
shitbags in Hollywood, if like they put something out, I'm like, you know what? I hope your movie does badly.
And what if
Yep.
it's good?
That's even worse. That's worse.
Then it makes me angry, like
Yeah.
viscerally angry.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. I
Yeah.
like it.
Well,
All right. So that is
Okay.
our Rotten Tomatoes scores. We'll check back next week, see how those go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Let's move on to some reviews. So we'll go into the what are you watching?
Cool.
So very
Yeah.
simple. What are you guys watching this week?
Should I start it off?
Yeah.
What are you
So,
watching?
I did the opposite. I saw the one that I said, no, I'm probably not going to see that one.
Okay.
And that's the one I
Yep,
saw.
that's exactly what you did.
Mission Impossible Fallout.
Okay.
I 97 is like super good. I want to say that I think this is probably the
Hey, Hector.
like I think they're
The
they're,
other one. No, keep going. Keep going.
Oh, okay. And it's I think it's everything firing on all cylinders.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. That they had, like I said, and I think since 3, J.J. Abrams he directed 3, and then
Okay.
he's produced the subsequent films.
Okay.
And I think really with 3, I don't know. I liked it, but I like the series.
Gotcha.
Um,
Non-spoiler reviews, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to spoil 3 because 3
Sure.
is I think Abrams kind of brought in like the Alias
Feel to it.
formula where it's got the intense action and it's got the little intrigue, espionage, and it was well balanced. And I think they took that formula and ran with it from those movies on. So I do think that, and I think that even the scores have been better and better.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes releases these charts every once in a while,
Yeah.
especially when new movies come out in a series. And I predicted this, and I said this. I didn't predict it by score, but I did say I've noticed like every time I go back and watch a new Mission Impossible, I feel like they get better and better.
Sure.
And that is the exact trend in critical score and Rotten Tomatoes too, aside from Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah.
People did not like that one.
That's the bottom, and then it
Yeah.
goes up because even 3 was more well received than the first one.
Right.
Which I think I'm like, I don't know. I don't
But
know
then
about
it keeps
that, 'cause
going
I like
on
the
and
first
on.
one, but yeah.
Yeah.
And so they move up and up, and they do move up in quality.
They do.
They like I said, I think they took their formula and just kind of
Refined
worked
it.
And I think this is sort of the culmination. And I will say,
Okay, cool.
trailer wise, I mean, non spoiler ish wise is it's sort of kind of wrapping things up a little bit. But
Okay.
then again, opening things up. So, and it's one of those deals.
I have not seen any of the Mission Impossible films.
Wow.
Wow.
How did you manage that?
You should see some. They're fun.
I accidentally watched, I think, the end of the first one.
Okay.
And I was like, I
Accidentally.
don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not seen them. They look fun. So I know Simon Pegg is in a bunch of them, and I'm
Yeah.
a huge.
The last three.
Yeah.
I'm,
last four.
I'm a huge Simon Pegg fan, so that alone makes me want to see them.
He's fun.
But in the trailer for this one, it's when Henry Cavill does the loading of his arms. I'm like, what is happening? I don't even know. But I'm like, Henry Cavill.
He was in an interview and somebody asked, like, why'd you do that? He's like, it just felt right.
And that's the right answer. Henry Cavill,
yeah.
you
Yes,
just
Superman.
get your guns
It felt
ready.
right. It's right.
I'm into it. And then just the little clip of that fight, I was like, this looks like a good fight. And plus, Tom Cruise is whatever, but I know that he throws himself into his
Literally.
stunts.
He does.
Yeah.
He's falling.
He
He's
broke his arm or
flying,
something.
flying
Foot.
planes and climbing outside of buildings and falling out of helicopters and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? You're an insane Scientologist person, and that freaks me out. But you know, if you want to do it, do it. What's that?
Because
Whatever.
of these films, amongst some others, like Tom Cruise, I've said for a long time is my favorite actor. I know people hate that.
I
I'm
don't
okay
hate
with
it.
it.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
He's
I don't
not my
hate it.
favorite actor.
Yeah.
I think he has had some performances over the years that I've enjoyed,
Yes.
some more than others.
Yes.
I think he's kind of back in his sort of actiony hero phase, which is not as
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. The Mummy. I didn't watch that. Yeah.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
no,
I
but
agree.
It's terrible.
but you know, but I think he's an interesting performer, and I think he could be even more interesting, but he's just not choosing to do those kinds of films right now, and that's okay.
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
whatever.
and he's
I agree. I think he can be
him
very good.
like everyone else at his age in Hollywood, and even a little bit older too. They're all going back to these action films.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Liam Neeson set the tone.
He really
So
did.
He can, yeah.
he has a
And I
certain
think-
set of skills.
I think Tom Cruise is good at what he does.
He is. He is
and
good at
that's-
what he does.
You know,
He's good
and
at being an
that's,
action
I think
hero.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't think there's any, you know.
I think that's a really good way to
acting-wise.
put that.
Yeah,
That's a
You
great
know,
way to put
and
that,
I
actually.
enjoyed all of these movies honestly, and like I
Yeah,
said,
I
I
did
think
too.
this one is definitely like it would be the ultimate one, I would say.
Yeah, it
And
is.
even-
It
even
is
with
the 97 that
you
it
can-
deserves to
You
be.
can watch it, yeah. You know,
Gotcha.
and
Very
you
cool.
don't need to be familiar with it, but you know, if you're following it.
Oh
there's
no,
stuff
I
going
have
on,
a
you know.
plan. I have a plan. Some friends of mine, they have a podcast, Super Talk with Angie and Owen. Shout out.
City College.
City College
Yeah,
does
check out
that,
their
and
website.
but we talked about we got off track because we talked about like sitting and just marathoning all of the
Right.
Mission Impossible films.
That sounds like a good time.
So we looked up like how long it would take to watch all of them minus the new one, and it's
Right.
something like 12 and a half hours or
Nice.
something.
Okay.
That's not bad.
And,
not bad.
and then
Yeah.
go see Fallout. So we're sort of like, I don't know if anyone was, I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If I can find
I
the
wanna
chunk,
do that.
I would do it just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've never seen the movies.
They're
I
so
don't know.
fun. You're gonna have
Yeah.
such a good time.
The second one's
You could honestly,
not
you
great.
could skip two.
The second
Yeah?
one's not
Okay.
good. That's the one that has Grace Scott, right?
Yeah, he's
As
the bad guy.
Yeah. And then
with
it has,
Tandy Newton.
Tandy Newton.
Andy Newton.
God, I want to go back and watch them now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway.
I think
I
I'll
mean, she was good. It's the role, but anyway,
Okay.
it's one of those deals.
go next. Did we talk about The Sinner?
She did.
I did last week, but you're welcome to. I would. Are you going to talk about Fargo though? Because I'm not going to talk about Fargo. And
Wait, you talked about The Sinner last week?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Then I'll talk about Fargo.
The show.
The show.
Oh, okay.
And I guess even the movie. Like I had never seen the movie, and I feel
Movie's
like I was
Not at all.
No, I have
Oh,
now.
okay.
At
I
this
was like,
point
oh.
in my life,
I was
have
like,
seen
cut.
it.
Let's go.
As of when had
We'll
you
watch
like
it
when
right
did
now.
you see it?
But recently.
Okay.
Nice.
And so I saw Fargo last year sometime and fell in
Okay.
love with it. God damn it, it's so fun.
It's
I
such a-
love dark comedy.
Right.
Such a weird dark movie.
And they do a very good job with it. And then mixing in this weird tone of what it's like to be in Minnesota and what? Did
That's just funny. No,
Oh, I thought I was
Minnesota?
spoiling something.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
no,
oh, it's
no,
not
no, I
Minnesota.
was laughing at something.
Fargo,
gotcha.
Fargo, North Dakota.
Dakota.
North
Yeah.
Dakota.
Yeah, you betcha.
Um,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You betcha.
Oh, yeah.
God,
sure,
and that,
yeah.
that's it was that her. I imagine it wasn't her breakout role, but
It was
Sorta.
It was kind of
What's
in
her
that Frances McDormand.
Yes.
It was kind of
Sorta.
a breakout role in the sense that she got a lot of award recognition for that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She had been working at that
Yeah.
point before the film for years.
I think
And
it,
is such a talented, just amazing.
And it's a weird role. I mean, everything about this film.
Marge, what's her name? Marge Gunderson or something.
Marge
She's
Gunderson.
the
Good.
sheriff or the deputy, and she's pregnant, super pregnant.
You're really good. It was
Oh,
Marge
yeah.
Gunderson.
She's real, and sure, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
you betcha. She won, I believe, was Oscar nominated. Did she win?
I don't know if she won. I know she got
can't
nominated.
remember.
I don't remember
She
either.
won.
Yeah, I'm hearing
Did
a
she?
yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Tremendous.
Like I fell in love with it in the same way that I kind of fall in love with like Australian New Zealand comedy. It's
Yes.
very
Right.
similar.
Very
in
similar.
tone, and it's dark, and it's
That's Coen
it's
Brothers.
funny.
You've just
All the
made a
way.
connection for me in my head.
Yeah.
That's
It's
like
the same feeling.
Flight
that
of
I
the
get.
Conchords. It's
Sure.
like it's
Yeah.
that weird dark humor.
Taika Waititi things.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's so fun, and it's subtle in some ways too. So, anyways, I watched that, and a couple days ago, we're like, let's watch this Fargo show. It's been going on for years.
Yeah.
We've been hearing about it.
How many
Yeah.
seasons are
They've
there?
done 3.
I saw the first season.
Okay.
Okay,
I
yeah,
haven't-
I believe
I
that
haven't caught up
they've
with
done
it.
3, and they're releasing 4 in 2020, but they are doing it.
Cool.
That's I hope I'm getting that right. And so we watched the first couple episodes, I believe, and right out the gate, you're seeing a ton of A-list actors, like
Yeah.
a ton.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're seeing like really good writing in the same tone as the original film, which came
Sure.
out a decade ago or
Yeah.
more.
I was more than that.
And you're having a really good time watching like Billy Bob Thornton with his weird bowl haircut
Right.
being
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
psychopath.
Yeah.
But, like,
who else is in this show, Jess?
Super deadpan comedy, like with
Yeah.
him.
Pitch Black.
And then we've got it's not Simon Pegg.
Okay, here
Martin
we go.
Freeman?
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman
Martin
is
Freeman. We got
It's
Colin
Martin
Hanks in
Freeman.
it.
Mhm.
Allison, what's that name?
She's not
Tolman.
Tolman.
super famous.
Yeah,
but she's
I don't know her
really
as well.
good in this.
But she's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of other.
I was going to say
prolific
Kirsten
people in
Dunst,
it.
but she's in the second season.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
and
too
then
much.
I think Ewan
Right.
McGregor comes in later. But
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it so far it already hooks you right away.
First
It's
episode,
so
10
good.
minutes.
Where can you watch this program?
Hulu.
Hulu.
Hulu. $5 a month if you have a
That's where I
student
saw it.
email.
Okay.
And it comes with Spotify. Crazy,
Nice.
Okay.
huh? So yeah, please do yourself a favor, go watch the movie, then go watch the show, kind of see how it progressed.
It's different characters though, right? It's not the same
No,
people.
no.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I had a
But it just feels exactly the
feels like
same,
it's the
even
same.
though it's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
what time
It feels like the 90s.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever actually say.
Yeah, but like you
don't know
don't
if they
see
do
like
either.
modern cell phones. They answer,
that's what I mean. I wonder if that's
yeah.
like how conscious
It's like those
that is.
weird
You know?
clunky
Yeah.
flip phones.
I think
things.
we're looking at 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing
but
too.
No,
It
but no,
feels
they haven't. I like that they don't really establish. They're just
Sure.
kind of going after.
I like
you know?
it too because you're just it keeps you guessing.
But that was one. Yeah, that was one thing.
It was
I
like watching Lady Bird too, where I'm like, what time period am I
Right.
in right now? And I feel like that probably happens a lot. Where if something's within the last like 15 years, it's kind of ambiguous because you feel like
Right.
you're still in it.
20 years is vintage.
20
I'll
years
get
is
to that
vintage.
in a bit.
All right. You want to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want me to go?
No,
Oh.
I'm gonna go last.
Oh, you're gonna go
Yeah,
last. Okay.
she's gonna go
There's
off.
a reason.
Yeah.
So what am I just? Well, I have been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine of late.
Okay.
I'm just watching the second season. This is a show that I stumbled onto via a friend of mine, Louisa. Would often watch it, and I would watch random episodes with her, not in any kind of order, and I would be laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started watching it in sequence. So I'm in the second season, and I'm just busting right through. That's on Hulu as well.
Cool.
This Brooklyn Nine-Nine falls into one of my favorite. It's basically my favorite category of comedy shows, which is ensembles of delightful weirdos who
Yeah.
love and support each other.
It's
Oh,
the same
it's like The
team
Office
that
and
made
Parks
the,
and Rec
Isn't
and
it the
all
same
those,
team that
right?
made those?
I don't.
I think it
I
is.
knew.
I could be wrong, but I thought it
think
was.
it is.
See, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the same.
It was Fox.
Oh,
find
Fox.
out.
That's right. Yeah.
and
no,
then
no,
it
no, it's different.
got
It's- yeah.
canceled
So-
and
They got
revived.
picked up by,
We're very excited. So I'm
the
not.
show is created by Dan Gore and
Michael
Michael
Schur.
Schur, who made The Office and Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
And
I thought I could swear. I
and
thought it
so-
was NBC.
Maybe
It's
not
Fox.
made, but it was a part
and
of
I
it.
Right,
think
right.
like The Office is started off as the reboot of the British show, and
Yeah,
then it
yeah.
kind of did its own thing. But yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, Community, diverse groups of weirdos who love and support each other is like my jam. And
Yeah.
so it's just a hysterically funny show. And my roommate's been watching it with me, Tate. He's on these programs sometimes with us, but even he's like, he didn't start from the beginning. He just started watching random episodes, and he's just laughing his ass off.
Nice.
So I've been watching a lot of that, and then the other thing is that he and I, he had already seen it, but I had not. We just marathoned and just finished season 1 of Westworld. So we're about to start season 2, and
That show is a mind fuck.
that show's a mind fuck. Now, because it came out 2 years ago, I think, the first season. So I tend to read a lot of articles of things. So this is one of those shows that I hadn't seen, but I had read a lot about. So I was spoiled on some things, not on everything.
You're still going to be confused.
And I still
Oh yeah.
loved it, had my mind blown. I was like hitting him like, what? Fantastic performance.
It starts off slow too,
It starts
but then
as
really builds.
It's a slow burn show, and then like layers come in, and it's really well done,
My
really
favorite-
interesting.
Yeah, it makes me think like, is this what's going to hold up HBO in the interim between Game
Well-
of Thrones and the prequel to Game of
The
Thrones?
prequel to Game of Thrones, and I've seen blurbs about that have said this might be their tentpole show because it's a big cast. There's a lot of stories to tell. I love that it's an original. It's based on a Michael Crichton movie from the 70s, but they have expanded it and they've created this really interesting world. Great characters. Tons of nudity in a completely non-sexual way, which is fascinating to see. So many penises. You cannot imagine the number of penises on
Which
screen.
is like, yes, finally.
And when I'm penises. But the thing about that I appreciate, because even Game of Thrones got a little weird, and it's very male gaze, a lot of hot, attractive women and people
Right.
boning.
Right.
Westworld is just, because it's dealing with non-human characters and what's the morality of that, and then
Yeah.
you have all of these. So you have people just sitting around naked and being manhandled and being talked to in really scientific ways, and it's just a really weird.
It's certainly smarter than Game of Thrones, but to the point where, like, one of my favorite article titles after the finale of season 2 was like, even the biggest Westworld fans don't know what the fuck is going on, or something like that.
Which I can see, because it's confusing.
Crazy confusing.
Watching it, going into it, I knew some of the bigger plot points, but I didn't know everything, and so I had things that surprised me. But I was like, "What?" My favorite person on Westworld, at least through now having seen the first season, is Tandy Newton's character.
Oh, she's so great. She's my favorite too.
She's the best. Her character's name is Maeve, and she's so complicated, and it's all of these. It's science. It's talking about like the Turing, what is it? Turing's law and
Turing test.
the Turing
Turing
test,
test,
and consciousness and the morality of dealing with AI, which is actually something that's now starting to happen
Gonna be a thing.
Robot
Very
rights.
quickly.
world,
Robot
and,
rights.
so it's really, and then you also get to have a Western, and
I tell Alexa I love her every night.
that's nice and creepy, but nice.
Yeah, she answers that.
So I'm excited to start watching the second season, because the first season I was like, this is a really complex show, and I like that it's complex and it's a slow burn. And I, polar opposite, Westworld and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but that's where my head's at right now.
Right. Good for
Yeah.
you. That's cool.
So,
Yeah.
It
Very
actually
cool.
sounds like a good breather.
It's kind of a good
Or-
balance,
yeah.
because like Westworld, I'm like, oh my god, and then I
then
just watch like
palate
2-3
cleanser.
episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty great.
Jessica, what are you watching this week?
Uh-oh.
Well, I have a little bit of an announcement. So, I started binge watching a show that's on Amazon Prime last night, and I got all the way through the first season in one night because I was so addicted and obsessed immediately. And it is called The Vintage Voyager. As you probably all know, I have started to sell vintage clothing like online, and have started to do like pop-up events around town. And I'm really into shopping for vintage clothing. And so this was something that I had been following this person. Her name is Allison Maldonado on Instagram, and realized that she does a show on Amazon. And I was like, what? This is a show about vintage shopping. This is like
Built for
right
you.
up my
It's
alley.
literally created
It's
for
literally
you.
like created for
Kind
me.
of like that Netflix original.
Right. And so, so I, was so obsessed with it last night. I like on social media, like raved about it today. And she actually messaged me back and said, thank you so much for, saying that you love the show. We talked about vintage things. She said she's actually she's on the road right now, so they're going to start filming season 3, and she's actually going to come to New Mexico and do an episode, which is awesome.
Are you going to get to meet her?
I would hope so. We'll see.
We need to have
I
her
will
on
kind
the
of
channel.
lose my mind if I
that'd
do
be
that.
great.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because she like talked directly to me. She talks directly to like everyone that comments on her stuff. She's very personable, very relatable.
The power of the internet.
Yeah.
Right?
And she was like, oh, I can't wait to see a review on the show. So she's gonna watch
So
us.
what do you
So
give her,
hi,
like
Allison.
a 1 to 2 stars out of 5?
No.
5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars across the
5
board.
stars.
I can attest
love
to
it.
your like immediate excitement. You're
Oh
like
my
I came
God.
downstairs after a few hours and you were like, I haven't stopped watching this. And I was like,
I-
what is this?
I went down that rabbit hole
Nice.
so
Yeah, you
fast.
did.
Awesome.
So I actually wrote out a review of what I think. This is what I
Do
said.
it in your own voice.
I'll do it in my news anchor voice. So I think that this is a witty, fun-filled ride. Allison is a delight to watch. She's incredibly knowledgeable about vintage. She has impeccable style. I love, she does these little segments at the end of every show called Vintage 101, where she gives you tips about how to buy things, what are some weird facts about vintage, like how sizes have changed a lot over time.
How to wear things.
How to wear things. She did one on like how you can wear a scarf as a top in like 5 different ways and how you tie it. And she,
I'm gonna watch this
yeah,
show.
it is-
Just
it is
Allison,
wonderful.
You got me. She
Yeah.
got me. hooked. That's it. I'm gonna watch it.
It's wonderful.
I'm gonna watch it.
She does these unique segments, so it's not just vintage clothing. She does segments where she goes to vintage toy stores. She goes to vintage sports paraphernalia stores. So she like
Jewelry.
jewelry.
Yeah, yeah.
She does all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
She meets up with these people, these 2 women who do like vintage shoes, like they recreate vintage shoes, but they're new, but they're vintage styles. And she is hysterical. That is my favorite part of the show, is that she makes it so fun to watch. She's so funny. She talks to all the owners about the owners of the vintage shops that she goes to. And she talks about the philosophy of, vintage clothing, what their personal style is. It's really great. She goes to these stores and like first it starts off in New York, and then she goes across the country and starts going into different vintage stores like in Pittsburgh and Chicago and places like that. And she tries a bunch of things on. The owners kind of tell her the stories behind all the clothes, and it's just really, really great.
Nice.
Yeah, I
and-
saw a little bit of an episode with she brings her friend who's a guy and they try on male clothing.
Because
And
it's
like
a store that specializes in men's suits.
yeah, and like
Cool.
I wear like $3 Hanes shirts, so I don't have that in me. But after watching that episode, I was like, he looks like he feels like empowered by what he's wearing.
Yeah.
I've never felt that
It's
really.
so great because
it was-
her motto
the
is
power of clothes,
her motto is that your clothes should make you happy.
Yeah.
And I agree. They should make you happy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really love just her personality and how funny
philosophy
she is.
behind it too.
Yeah.
And this is an
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Nice.
And I think there are 2 seasons out so far, and there is going to be a 3rd one coming up.
And it's
Yeah.
really cool that
Vintage
Amazon Prime is
voyeur.
putting out shows that are kind of indie like this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would have seen something like this on Netflix or you know what I mean,
Necessarily,
Hulu.
Yeah, no, maybe one of the channels that there's a like HDTV and
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I could
Yeah.
see it there, but it's
Maybe.
actually
Right.
cool it's on Prime because people have ready access to
yeah,
that.
Oh, yeah.
that's great.
And she actually started off as a YouTube person.
Mm.
So,
Nice.
and then it got picked
Well,
up
that's
by
cool.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Prime.
that's cool.
So
That's real cool.
really cool.
Very cool.
Favorite piece that she's bought so far, sailor jumpsuit from
Nice.
probably the 60s or 70s.
Sailor jumpsuit.
It's a sailor-esque jumpsuit.
Is it super cute?
Oh
I
my
bet
god.
oh my god.
I really
We
want
need to get
ask
sailor
you,
jumpsuits.
I
we go.
really,
Yeah,
I really
I'm
want
down.
to ask you, Allison, like, how do you not buy every single thing? How do you control yourself? Like, how do you have self-control? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Teach
just
us.
my question.
Teach us your ways.
for you. So if you watch this, please answer that.
And I was really surprised. I mean, like, I've kind of helped Jess, and I like watch her like grow in her love for vintage, and then getting to the point of where she's like in the community and selling it. But I found it really interesting that you said that she said the best place to get vintage clothing is in New Mexico.
Well, she didn't say the best place to get vintage clothing. She said that she is from San Diego and now lives in New York, but she's from San Diego originally, and she's Hispanic. And she said that she has a really big Southwestern flair to her style.
Oh,
and
gotcha. Okay.
And she loves New Mexico. She said it's one of her favorite places.
One of her favorite.
Nice.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
in the world.
Just in
You know?
life.
Like, she just loves it here.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
All right.
yeah.
And
Nice.
she's
Cool.
gonna come and shoot an episode here.
I know. It's going to be great. I wonder which store she's going to go to.
Ooh,
I gave
I'm-
her some suggestions.
What did you
so.
suggest? Because I'm thinking of
I suggested Avengers Vintage, Off Broadway,
off Broadway. Sure.
Paradise Club, Plumed Serpent, and Frockstar.
Frockstar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just if you're into vintage in Albuquerque, those are places you could go as well.
There's
Yes.
a lot.
Local,
is, yeah.
local businesses.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to be on College Circuit, hit us up. Or
Yeah.
we'll hit you up. We'll see.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
hit you up.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll hit us. Maybe you'll hit Dylan.
You can hit me. You're welcome to.
Maybe you'll teach him how to dress.
Ah.
I think you should.
I actually, yeah, I have some ideas.
Yeah.
in my mind.
I'm gonna show up tomorrow on
Dapper.
or next week on Screen Source in a sailor-esque jumpsuit.
Oh my god.
I think that's what-
Fingers crossed.
I have
Super
so
cute.
many that
If
you can
didn't
try on.
If you didn't watch the show before, you should now.
yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
let's
Doing
jump back
me.
real quick. We are skipping over our required viewing. We're going to be talking about it next week instead. And so if you could show that last slide of the required viewing.
Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Yeah. Just make sure you
On
guys
Netflix.
watch it, and then we'll talk about it next week a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be next week. Okay, cool. So let's move on to our game. Every week we gotta do a different game. It's Last Blank
No.
Standing. I don't know what came over me, but I was thinking about people that make me happy when I watch them on film or television.
Okay.
And I think that's called being a charmer.
Sure.
They probably even got positions because not only they're great actors, but they're charming.
Okay.
And so I chose a list of people that I thought were and
I
they're-
think it's really funny that you chose two women who your girlfriend gets compared to regularly.
that's true. You do get compared to that.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, you even have the same like wing going on as her.
Oh.
These are very charming
Shocking.
people. You're a charming person.
You're great,
Aw.
and
Thank you.
And you guys are a
Thank
couple.
you.
I can't imagine. That's like, yeah.
I know, and I look just like John Hamm, so so I get it.
I was
get
gonna
it.
say The Rock.
You're
it's
getting
the
Right.
chiseled.
Start dressing
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's
him.
the
Obviously,
it's the
you're
arms.
Dwayne Johnson.
It's the arms.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
there's
geez.
a cast of 6 people up here. There is 4 of us plus a producer. So our producer is going to eliminate the first person, and then we are going to go down the line, and eventually the last and best charmer standing will be the best of all time.
Okay. Okay.
So
okay.
who are you getting rid of, Mr. Hector?
I play Paper on the Rock.
Ah, he plays Paper on the
Dwayne
Rock.
Johnson out in the beginning.
Getting rid of the Rock.
No.
Sorry,
That makes
Stan.
you
Sorry,
sad.
Stan.
Very
I
sad.
Because
did
you've
not
been charmed by him
anticipate
many
that.
times.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
I'm actually not mad at that.
I'm not mad at
okay
it
with
either.
I'm okay with that, Hector.
I'm not mad. I'm just heartbroken.
Oh,
So then we
Stan,
just
I'm
go
sorry,
right down the
Stan.
line.
Sure,
How
yeah,
we
yeah.
do it?
You'll go last. That'll be
Okay.
fine. If that's all right, you guys okay with that?
That's
Yep.
fine.
Cool. Who you getting rid of, Stan?
I'm gonna get rid of John Hamm.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You broke my heart now.
Oh,
Mad Men's like
man.
one of my favorite
Nice.
shows.
Nice.
The ultimate charmer.
Nice.
All
And
right.
not just that, he's also like when he's in comedy, he's really good at that too.
Yeah.
Very
oh my
funny.
gosh, Bridesmaids. He's hysterical. I'm getting rid of George Clooney. Don't hate
Clooney.
me.
Oh.
Clooney.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Let's see
should I
that.
go? You're gonna go last.
Okay,
I think
you
we can
go.
do that. I am going to get rid of Miss Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I must choose between Winona Ryder and Jeff Goldblum.
Nice.
Oh, that's kind of an easy one.
I don't know.
One of them is like known as the charmer. Like,
Yeah, he is.
like he's charmed my snake many times.
Sure.
he's the ultimate. He's kind of the
He's
ultimate.
charmed your snake?
Yeah, he's.
His snake charmer.
Right on.
Yeah, there can be only one.
There
and,
can
and
be
it must
only
be,
The last charmer standing
It
is.
must be Mr. Jeff Goldblum. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Miss Winona Ryder, you're
Okay.
gone.
Okay.
Mr. Jeff
Okay.
Goldblum. Mr. Jeff
Okay.
Goldblum.
Yes.
I'm with you. I am with you completely.
Yes.
And I feel good about that
I
choice,
feel good
actually.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no regrets.
It's almost like
Oh, I
that was
love him so
inevitable.
much.
But I will say, like, Clooney is so charming.
He's
I-
very charming.
These are all charming people.
You guys should
Fair.
all watch the video of Jeff Goldblum.
Because I thought he was the obvious choice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You thought Ham was the
I
obvious?
thought it would have been Ham. That's what I was like.
Oh,
Interesting.
I thought it was gonna be
No.
Clooney.
What
Okay,
video?
so mine would have been Ham. That's my favorite. Who would your favorite have been? Your
It
your
would've-
your pick.
It would have either been Goldblum or Winona. God damn it, it's so hard. I can't.
Yeah,
Who would yours have been?
Goldblum. Goldblum.
Oh, you're good with your choice.
Absolutely. I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah, The Rock with
Okay.
Goldblum was a close second. Actually, Goldblum and both of them. I love both.
It's
of them.
hard.
But it's The Rock for you.
Yeah, but it's The Rock.
It's The
It's
Rock, yeah.
hands down.
Hector,
What video-
who would yours have
Oh.
been, Hector?
Who would you...
Clooney.
Clooney.
Comparison.
All right.
He likes
He's
the
very
classy.
charming.
He's a
Yeah.
classic
Yeah.
charmer.
Sure.
What video were you talking
Oh,
about?
I was gonna say if you want to watch something that will make your heart warm, watch Goldblum doing. He reacts to tattoos of himself.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That's
It's
good.
It's great.
So
It's a
good.
pretty
Yes,
great.
it
Yeah,
is.
who
Oh
put
my
that one
God.
on? I can't
love him
remember,
so
but it was
much.
good.
BuzzFeed or
And
somebody.
the show, yeah. No, I thought it was like a late night show. segment.
He's also in a jazz band, and I've had
What?
several friends that have been to his shows and like have met him, and like he's had his arm around them for pictures and stuff, and I'm like,
and
oh
he's
my
like super
God.
freakishly tall.
What does he
Yeah.
smell like? Does he smell good? I bet he smells fantastic.
As far as I've heard from both of them, they say that he's a lovely human being.
What is
Nice.
I bet he
smell like?
smells great. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a valid question.
yeah.
I want to know.
I will say, like, Winona, like, is always, she's kind of like a
Oh man,
like a
she's
manic
so cute.
pixie dream
Yeah,
girl
yeah,
to
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although fuck that trope, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all.
yeah.
Like I
Okay.
picked. Yeah,
She's like
sure.
kind of the ultimate, and then Audrey. Oh, she's just
Yes.
so
Just classy.
just
Yeah.
classy.
Classy
Yeah,
lady.
yeah.
Classy
Just-
lady.
Oh, yeah.
Classy lady. All right.
yeah.
Do we have to?
We
is
can all
that
stop
it?
swooning now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Never
They're
take
all
them off the
swoon
screen,
worthy.
and I'll stop. Oh.
Yeah. All right, now we're moving
Take the
into our
time.
trailer segment. And are you gonna have to take off right now?
I kind of need to go.
Sure,
But
yeah.
maybe I can.
Did you want to
watch
see if there's a trailer that you were
Yeah, what are the
particularly interested in?
What do we got?
All right, so we got King of Thieves, Napoli Ever After, If Beale Street Could Talk, Forever, and Pokemon.
You know what? I'm okay. I think I'm gonna respectfully step away
is
because
totally
I gotta get out of here. I
Yeah.
promised
Sure.
a friend I'd take her to the airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
that's pretty important.
Yeah, that's
You're a
important.
She
good
can't be late for
friend.
that.
No, I don't
no,
want her to
no,
be
no.
late. But this has been super fun.
Can you do me a
Yeah.
favor?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Can you put the Ewok in your place, like in your seat,
Where's the
Like when you leave.
right over there?
Oh, top
Yeah,
there?
he will be our Bridget.
That's gonna be the stand-in. Yeah, let me get him.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right,
Might
thank
be
you,
hard to
Bridget.
get,
Oh,
just
also
so you know.
congrats on you got a play coming up, directing.
Oh yeah,
co-directing?
I'm gonna be. We're about to start rehearsals. I'm in and also assistant directing a production here in Albuquerque at the Vortex Theater called "The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime." It's based on a book by Mark Haddon. It's about a young man with who's on the autism spectrum,
Okay.
and we're literally having our first read through on Monday. But we've had a couple
Nice.
meetings, and we're getting ready, and it's going to go up late September, and I'm excited.
Congrats!
So that
Very
means
cool.
I won't be on. I'm just gonna. Won't be able to be on the show for a while because I have rehearsals. But if
Right.
if I have a
Well.
free night, I will let you know. 'Cause
Awesome.
I love being
Great.
on Screen Source, but
Yeah, we love having you here.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah, yeah. No,
congrats.
no.
That is.
Yeah,
Go do
that's
the real
awesome.
things.
That's
I
awesome.
want to
And
see
we'll
that
judge
show.
them.
That sounds really good. One of your last plays was phenomenal. It was
Yeah, the
wonderful.
last play you
It was
directed, we
so
were
wonderful.
crying.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
else?
Like actually
Was it
crying.
She Kills
Yep,
Monsters.
She
Yeah.
Kills
Did you
Monsters. We were
guys
crying.
cry?
We
We actually
cried.
both cried. Yeah.
Very good. You're a very
Yeah.
good director.
Yeah. It was
Awesome.
really good. And I don't cry in plays very often, but I think that's because I haven't seen enough like dramatic plays.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of like scary plays or
Oh, yeah.
like
This
you
one's
know.
got some. It's pretty intense. It's going to be very cool and intense and interesting. And
Cool.
Hope you
Cool.
guys come see it.
All
Yeah.
right.
see it.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, Bridge.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
I've never called you Bridge. That's a new thing.
That's a sign of true friendship.
Sign of
There you
true
go.
friendship. So yeah, be careful.
Be careful out there.
Cool. So first trailer. Oh, also real quick, the game here is watch, rent, or skip.
Yep.
If it's
Yeah.
like a Netflix or something, the rent is equivalent of leaving it in your queue for a little while. Anyways, let's watch King of Thieves. I have no clue what this is about,
Do
but
it.
we're gonna find out.
I have made more money out of gold than all the great train robbers put together.
You still thinking about?
It's a lovely vault, that.
Nice.
If I can round up the right people,
What kind of people?
Where do I know that guy from?
How's your new hit going,
Is
Ken?
that Matt
Daredevil.
Murdock?
It's Daredevil.
Yeah. I didn't know he was British.
What?
He's deaf as a post.
Hatton Gardens, Easter,
Okay.
no one at home. We go down the shaft like Spider-Man, then through the wall. And the vault is ours.
Ken?
Oh,
All over me nuts.
Dig a grave. They're killing me.
no. Nice.
Nothing like old men and penis jokes.
Right.
Jesus. Oh, tell me.
Try breathing in.
Oh, God. Oh, we go. Don't eat anything while you're in there, will you?
The problem with gold, it's easy to get, but it's difficult to get rid of.
Whoa.
Police have said this is the biggest robbery in UK history.
Everyone
Nice.
thinks you've lost your nerve. Well, I don't want to get caught again. I am not stupid.
Unless they're complete idiots, the jewels must have already left the country.
Those dingbats, they've mucked us all up.
I'm the governor now.
I'll have you a few chunks.
Dan is a bit of a psychopath.
Is this everything? You switched them.
You thief. Whose side are you on?
If anyone's the weak link, it's Brian.
Ryan and Kenny.
Yeah, Brian Kenny. And Billy.
They're like a pack of
Mike
starving rats.
Cocaine.
It's just so disappointing when people stoop to backstabbing.
Charlie Cox. I couldn't remember his name.
It's the blind leading the deaf. Do you think he's dead?
Let's go. Leave him to pay.
Oh man.
All right, King of
right.
Thieves.
Oh, that looks adorable. that looks so freaking cute.
Largely because Michael Caine is like your like favorite.
I wish he
grandpa
was my
actor.
grandpa.
Yeah.
I wish he was.
She talks
I
about
love
him all like
so
way
much.
too much.
Nice.
I love him. I don't care what anyone
He's
says.
a charmer too.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
King of Thieves, if I'm not mistaken, there's a show on Netflix called White Rabbit Project. It's a show that stars the B team of MythBusters.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
And they made
Yeah,
a show,
yeah.
and it's still kind of myth busting in some ways,
Yeah.
but they basically have a topic of focus every single episode, and they go through a handful of different things relating to it, much like MythBusters. But they
Right.
did one about world's like craziest robberies
Uh-huh.
or break-ins or
Right.
breakouts or something like that. Those might even been two different episodes,
Sure.
and they did a whole thing focusing on this.
This case?
This case, and I'm
Nice.
pretty sure, and I'm almost positive this is based on like a real thing
Yeah.
that happened. Bunch of old men, a bunch of old white men trying to get away with
Nice.
like this crazy
Wow.
elaborate bank heist.
Right.
And it's super interesting, the story behind it.
Right.
And yeah,
Cool.
I won't spoil it. But if you want to be spoiled, go watch that.
Okay.
But otherwise,
and
what
I
did you
love
guys?
you, Michael Caine.
Mike Cocaine.
Michael
Yeah. How
Caine.
did you guys feel about it? I mean, it's
It looks fun.
Yeah.
It looks fun. I don't know that I'm going to rush out and see it, but
Who's the demographic?
I'll watch it.
That's my question.
old white
I
men.
don't know.
Is this
Well-
for like a 40 and older, 50 and
I don't know.
older
I don't
crowd?
know about that. I
Our
think
parents.
if you see what hit me is it's a heist movie. So
Yeah.
that's I'll watch a heist. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's old men.
Right.
I'll
It's
watch
certainly
it,
a different type of heist movie.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, and then like in that vein, you know, we have Ocean's 8 now. You know, so it's kind of it's like and you know, it's,
Yeah, you're right.
Like I saw the sort of the heist first before like the real actor, you know, angle.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would watch, you know, I watch most heist movies.
Okay.
So maybe it's like the crime crowd.
Gotcha.
True crime, maybe true
Yeah,
story crowd.
I love that
you
stuff.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you're thinking you would maybe hold off, maybe rent it.
If like I would do a $5 day, especially like if
Yeah.
it you know, reviews are good, it sounds good. Yeah,
Sure.
I would check it out in the theater.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't like just go to the regular theater like
Right.
right when it comes out, but I will definitely rent it.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
definitely, because I love Michael Caine. It looks very cute. So
Right.
I suspect this won't be like a big hitter
No.
in the box office.
I did like. Did you see what it was? It was another bank heist. It was a couple years ago.
Logan Lucky?
Logan Lucky was very good.
That was good.
It's called The Bank Job. It was
No.
Jason Statham and Saffron Burrows. There was a bunch of British actors in it.
Oh.
The
And
Bank Job?
It's about it's actually a period, and it's about like I think like maybe an old British heist, and that was one of the biggest in the day.
Jason
in that
Statham's
day.
in like every heist
Yeah,
movie.
he pops up. He pops up.
He's
a
in the
lot.
Italian Job too, and I love that.
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And that I think that might have been like an old school British heist. But
Okay.
that's what it was about, and it's a period, you know, set in the period.
Gotcha.
Isn't Jason Statham also in one of the Ocean's movies?
I don't know.
I don't
No.
know.
I was gonna say I thought he was for some
Yeah,
reason, but
let's
probably
see,
not.
Italian Job. He did the Transporter
Right,
series.
which
Those
is
were
sort of
kind
heisty.
of
action.
Yeah, it was more action.
action
It wasn't
films.
really heisty. I can't think of any others.
This movie is directed by James Marsh, who probably known for The Theory of Everything, that movie that came
Got
out
some
in
of the awards.
2014 about Stephen Hawking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't end up watching that, so I don't know.
No.
You know,
want
that's
to
like
see
a
it still.
biopic.
Mhm.
And then you did The King in 2005, so that's going backwards, and then
okay.
Shadow Dancer,
Hmm.
2012.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. So I haven't actually seen what this guy
I
can
haven't seen any
do,
of these movies, yeah.
and these kind of all of them seem like kind of like low key. He's not like
Right.
aiming super high, but and some of these, you know, just like the in like The Theory of Everything, it's based on it's based on a story
Sure.
on somebody or something that happened. So
That's a
Yeah.
legit like
yeah,
it's like a
yeah,
legit genre almost.
sure, absolutely. Okay, so that was The King of Thieves. Let's move
Cool.
on to our next trailer,
Napoli Ever
and it is
After.
called Napoli Ever After.
Cool.
Interesting. Oh, I love her. I don't know what she's from that I know her from, but
Ever since I was a kid, my hair was everything. I had to be fixed. Only then was I perfect. What do you think? Perfect.
You're my go-to girl. Good job.
Tonight is going to be the happiest moment of my life.
What do you get? The perfect woman. Meet Lola.
oh,
I
she
was
thought he was going to
expecting a
propose.
ring. You said I'm perfect.
Oh right.
24/7 perfection. You never let your hair down. You don't want you on the account.
You can sponsor like 6 kids with that money you spend it for your hair.
Excuse me?
I apologize to my daughter. She knows better.
Wow. Just be yourself. Who would that be? The anal compulsive Miss Perfect cut or the not fun, never spontaneous weave?
Well, personally, I really like the weave.
I worked so hard to be perfect, and it still wasn't enough.
Oh God.
Oh.
There we go.
Nice. Is she doing it for real? Yeah. She's really shaving her head.
Is this the
Yeah, nice.
Is this the climax of the film?
I doubt it.
No. She still looks beautiful.
Right. She's still stunning.
She's having a Britney moment.
This is just something you did on a whim. I think you've been building up to it.
Yeah?
You gotta own it, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going? To dinner.
What brothers want is a woman who's real.
My dad won't let me perm my hair.
You don't need to do that. This craziness has got to stop. That's right. That's right.
Nice.
My hair was like a second job. Now I'm forced to focus on myself. I wonder who I'll be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Netflix original. September 21st. Very soon.
Okay.
All right. So I can already hear the moans of people, maybe white people, I don't know. Regarding this, I will say though, that like this is probably going to hit hard for a lot of people. It's super, super important.
It's very important.
Yeah, and especially in the Black community. There was a movie that came out that I think Chris Rock
produced it, yeah.
And what was it called?
Oh, Good Hair.
Good Hair. Yeah. You gonna tell us a little bit?
Oh no,
yeah.
it's basically dealing with this. I mean, and for women of color, hair is obviously a big thing, and it goes back. There's a big whole. I'm not gonna go into that, but I mean, there's a big whole history behind it, and just that far-reaching ramifications that lead into today. And I think this is an interesting story, just because like it's not one that I guess mainstream doesn't really
touch on. We don't talk about
and,
that.
I mean,
yeah.
it's more of like a in the Black community kind of deal, and like and there's a whole industry of African American hair care products.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like
It's
$1 billion
huge.
industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, know, and specifically African American hair.
Getting your hair flattened, like, or is that what they call it? I think they call it flattened.
Flat ironed or something?
Flattened.
Yeah.
No,
It's a perm, is it not?
It's it's like flattened, but I don't know exactly what the name of it is. But it's very, very expensive. It's like they do like it's like a perm where they use chemicals, and it costs like over $100 usually.
Yeah, they actually they touch on this a little bit in the second season of Glow, where the only Black character I think in the show, aside from her husband, is offered to have her, not even offered, kind of told by the director to have her hair changed to white people hair, quote unquote.
Essentially.
And she's like, I didn't agree to this, and like, don't touch me with that like crazy chemical stuff before I've like sat and thought about this or whatever. And so it's interesting too, like how they're doing this, in that like it seems kind of comedic.
Yeah,
like it's gonna be funny, but also very dramatic, and then also touching upon like a lot of like topics that
identity politics and how like just obviously it's a huge issue in the Black community for women in particular, but just for women in general, this idea that like your hair is so important. And like I mean obviously I'm not Black, so I can't really speak to the part about getting your hair straightened and how expensive that is and how that's part of your identity, but I can speak to the part of being a woman and having short hair and all the ramifications that come with that. My mom was like horrified when I first cut my hair short. She grew up in the time of Twiggy, where that was like really popular, but still she was horrified, and it was very much something about gender identity for her. It was like her first comment to me was something like, "You look like a boy" or something. And it's just very interesting the way
there's cultural identity behind it.
Yeah, and we're just like our identity is so wrapped up in the way we look, and for women it's wrapped up in our hair, and people have so many different kind of stereotypes about you as a person if you have short hair as a woman. And I can definitely identify with that.
I think too. Well, there's also, I think that this movie's probably more about it, and Good Hair touches on it. There's a movement to like move back to just that natural beauty, and like the celebrating like naturally curly Black hair, instead of having the stigma. See, it's I can at least partially identify in the fact that hair is a big issue for Native Americans.
Right. Big
So
part of the culture.
And maybe a little bit of the opposite is in where they're also, have been stigmatized and not allowed to wear their hair long and things like that, and that's a whole big cultural thing going back, cutting the hair and boarding schools and things like that. So I mean, it's I think it's a sort of a universal issue, and
Definitely.
I think it's I think it's interesting that we're starting to see these sort of movies that are touching on these things, these cultural things that aren't really discussed. They're known about, but they're not really discussed much.
Right.
Really
I think it's easy to kind of like toss it aside too and say,
Sure.
yeah, this isn't a big deal, but
Sure.
like it's a big deal to a lot of people.
A lot of people.
It is. It's
not
a
just
huge
like you said,
deal.
not just African American.
No.
In that sense, even though that's
To
kind of what we're
women, to
focusing
Native
on here.
Americans,
Yeah.
to Japanese
Sure.
culture too.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's huge in many different cultures and to many different people, and so, and just the way we look and all the, socialization, gender politics, identity politics, all of that is wrapped up in the way we look.
Sure.
So, anyways, I watched Happily Ever After.
Yeah. I think I would give it a watch, honestly.
Sure.
Just because I feel like it's not gonna be like number one on my list, but I'm gonna try. I really want to try and watch all these shows that are important shows with people of color in them that are starring, and
Right.
most of the cast is that way. Like
I didn't recognize a lot of this
Atlanta
cast.
and
I just recognize the girl.
yeah,
And I think her mom. I think her mom's somebody too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I really want to go down the
Atlanta's
list and
good.
watch all
Atlanta's really good.
those shows. I want to watch Insecure. I want to watch Dear White People. I want to watch all those
Right.
shows that are supposed to be
actually, Dear
very,
White People's
very
really good,
good.
too.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to watch this just basically, but based on the fact that it's Netflix.
Sure. And they're making it easy they're making it easy to watch.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Q, but I think it's more along the lines of Q, and this isn't one I'm going to watch while I'm goofing around with my son, or just things not in the background or something. Yeah, I want to be able to sit down and like watch it.
Yeah.
I know
I
there's a I'm sure it's like a PG-13 or something, but is this something you would show your kid?
This one.
Yeah.
If I had a girl, I have a little boy, so
Okay.
I would maybe I don't know that this would hold his interest.
Sure.
He's
Yeah.
9.
He's into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I know. Not his
when he gets older,
cup of tea, probably.
sure.
I just interesting. Yeah.
I think it's more along the lines of attention span than like
Of course.
consciousness, right? Conscience right now,
Right.
Of course. All right, let's move into our next trailer. We got if Beale Street could talk.
Okay.
I kind of like that I
All
know
right,
nothing about these movies.
Annapurna.
Oh, I love her too.
Yeah.
Mama. Yeah, baby.
When I was growing up, I was trying to make a connection between the life I saw and the life I lived.
Oh no, this is gonna ruin me. I can
There are
already tell.
days when you wonder what your role is in this country, and what your future is in it. This is one of them.
Is he in prison?
Look like it.
Sorry.
Looks like it.
I didn't mean none of that for you. I love you. You know that.
I do. And I understand what you're going through because I'm with you.
The things that tormented me the most were the very things that connected me with all the people who were alive.
Oh my god.
I'll tell you a story, if I may.
Wow.
this fall. Is it movie? Movie.
I think.
Not net. I didn't see Netflix anywhere.
That I think is how you make a trailer.
Yeah, no kidding. And it looks so pretty. Can I just say, like, the cinematography?
Yeah,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you watch Moonlight,
yeah,
it's
I was gonna say
so beautiful. The cinematography is like, it's one of the most beautiful movies.
Not just that, like the audio design of that trailer was so well done.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of blown away by how good that trailer was.
Yeah.
You know, clearly about kind of I am assuming it's following this girl and her relationship with this man who's obviously ended up in trouble.
Based on a book.
This is based on a book. It looks like it's in New York.
I think so. Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Could be Chicago or New York.
Oh, right. I thought so. I thought I heard New York, or I thought I heard somebody say something about it. Maybe not. New York.
New York.
Okay.
Yeah. Big
cool.
city.
It looks like it already premiered at Toronto Film Festival. I don't know how it did there, but who's and so we already know who wrote and directed it, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot already.
Oh my god, Barry Jenkins, man, why do you always have to ruin me?
Yeah.
Why do you have to do that to me?
Did Barry Jenkins come out of nowhere when Moonlight got big, or was this a long time coming for him, you know?
No.
It looks like Moonlight was his second. It wasn't his directorial debut, but it was his second movie. His first one was Medicine for Melancholy, which it looks like it was also nominated. He had a lot of accolades going for that too. So clearly we're going to be hearing more from this guy.
Cool.
Yep.
As time goes on.
He didn't. Oh, okay. He wrote the script. Did he write the? Because Moonlight is based on a play.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't write the play though, but he wrote the screenplay
Yeah.
for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, it was a different thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, screenwriter. Wait a minute, and I was like, oh, okay.
Right. Okay. Was there much else to kind of take away from that? Obviously,
No,
also it's about her relationship with her mother too.
I'm gonna. Since we're doing this right now, I'm gonna put it on rent, just because I'm gonna need a little more.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton. Yeah,
but
it was almost an artsy trailer.
A little bit, yeah.
Not
I
so
need
much a
I
plot.
need a little more,
Yeah.
just because.
It said it was a teaser too, so
Sure.
we'll probably see something with a little more plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the future.
Okay.
I will probably go with my friend and see this because it looks like it's going to be important. If it's anything like Moonlight, it's going to be important.
Okay.
And it's probably going to be Oscar bait. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see where they're going with that.
Yeah.
If it's yeah.
I think I will go with my friend to go see this.
Yeah. And this didn't look like it was modern America.
No.
Right.
No, it was period. Yeah.
No,
60s?
70s,
60s,
Okay.
probably.
All right, we're all guessing here,
That
but
well, I'm just saying, late 60s was like the height of like racial tensions and all of that.
yeah,
so.
that's what the kind of the narrator was saying throughout the video.
Yeah. So but I mean that's just speculative. So
Yeah.
Sure.
And it looks like it kind of deals with a lot of the same issues that Moonlight dealt with, like in terms of just
marginalization,
and the way that the prison industrial complex and how it is mostly made up of black men,
right?
And just the plight of black men and how they have to, just all the politics behind it is just so
and you're seeing it
fascinating
from her perspective too. So
yeah,
this is super interesting. I'm intrigued to say the least. I think this was how you should make trailers, or at least teaser trailers. Clearly not a ton of plot, but
right.
That's
a good thing.
Yeah. We'll see what comes of this with the next trailer. But let's move on to our next trailer here on Screen Source. To Forever. This is a trailer for season 1. I just heard about
TV
this.
show.
So
cool.
Let's see what this is.
Is that Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it already.
Armisen and Rudolph.
Yeah.
Aw, that's like me. When I bowl, I always do cutter balls like every other time.
Yeah.
Or not happen. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Wow. Interesting.
Remember the time we were here and we saw all those butterflies?
Oh, yeah, that was really cool. Where do you think they were all going?
Probably the Grand Canyon. That's where I would go if I could fly.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I really like with the progression of that trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you knew something had to happen, and I didn't just think what was going to happen was that they're getting bored with their marriage.
Right.
And it's called Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was like, it sort of had the vibe of the previous one, as in just kind of just giving you
the very basics, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did like the progression. That was really good.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys are fans of Maya Rudolph, Fred Armisen.
Big time.
Yeah.
Both
It's
of them,
gonna be fun to see them together playing a couple.
I think it's interesting. I think it's very interesting.
Getting old together.
That's a good pair.
Yeah,
they're both really hysterical.
Yeah.
Right.
But they both kind of have that sort of deadpan thing down. I think it's gonna be interesting.
I wonder how far in it might be, like first episode. I have a feeling very soon into the season we're gonna see them into this phase of this forever I hate this
right
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those ones I might have to see a little more.
Sure.
I'll queue it up.
Yeah.
It's Prime, right? Okay.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yeah. It looks like they're pushing Marvelous Mrs. Maisel at the end of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that coming back soon?
You know what? I don't know.
Now I have to look that one up.
Right.
Season 2, yeah.
Cool.
Season 1's pretty cool.
It's really good.
Yeah, Forever. I'm glad that Prime 2 is getting more shows like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have Prime.
Good stuff. Mozart in the Jungle's good. Or Mozart.
Oh, I haven't watched
That's really
that
good.
one.
I've heard
It's
good
really
things about it. I
my
really
wife
want to
loves
watch
it,
that.
and it is really
My
good.
buddy's really into Tick.
If
also.
you're yeah. I think if was it something completely different, but Gael Garcia Bernal. If you're a fan of him, watch the show.
Okay.
Oh, I
He's
love
all over
him.
that. Yeah.
So that would be great.
All right, that was
and it's
Forever.
not just him, it's Forever.
Let's move on to our last trailer of the evening. It is called Pokemon the Movie: The Power of Us. This sounds sounds empowering.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Oh, it's a teaser.
This is a town where people live in harmony with the wind. Once a year, we make a promise with Lugia to keep the wind blowing.
Come on! You want me to catch a Pokemon? You'll be the best big sister ever! But I don't know anything about Pokemon.
It's no use. Why don't you go and find somebody else to bother?
Did I dream that? At the time, we still didn't know that our meeting wasn't just a coincidence.
Everybody! Hang on!
Maybe I can. Maybe I can. Maybe I can.
What are you trying so hard for? We've all got Pokemon on our side!
Pokemon the movie, The Power of Us.
Some things I can't do alone, but together.
Huh.
Well, that looks
All right.
adorable.
Yeah.
What is this?
I'm a little embarrassed that I know all of the names of all of those Pokemon.
Nice.
And it's only because I obsessively play Pokemon Go. on
You
my
do
phone.
obsessively play Pokemon Go.
So that's a problem. But anyway.
So this is the I think millionth Pokemon movie in the
That's what I'm
Pokemon
saying.
series. Yes.
So is
many
this
of them.
There's 1 million of them.
Is this like is this picking up from somewhere, or are we?
Okay, so
reselling?
actually, if we're being real here, it's the
That's a really good
21st
question.
movie. and the second film in the rebooted anime film series. And by that, I believe they're saying that because Pokemon the movie I Choose You came out, I believe, last year. Went and saw it with my buddy Orion. We cried, held hands.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's a sequel to that.
Is that the one?
Okay.
Is that the one where homeboy?
Yeah. So there's
That's
what
I was confused with.
Let me spoil the first one a little bit. There was a big controversy over the fact that Pikachu talks.
Right.
Which I guess I could get for the hardcore fans that it would make them mad. I mean, like there are some Pokemon that do Meowth. Obviously, there's like a weird.
He's like the only one though.
Yeah. But I mean, he talks for like a second, and it's actually it feels a lot like the very first movie because Ash kind of dies, turns to stone to some effect, like in the first movie, and then Pikachu cries. His tears come out, and then, it was the power of love that brings Ash back alive.
That's so sweet.
And the interesting thing about the last movie was that it was kind of an amalgam of like first several seasons of Pokemon and some of the stories all put together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think this is more of that?
I think that this is. I don't know that this is an amalgam of more stories put together like the first one was.
Right.
It looks like there's already some critical reception for this film. It's probably been released. It looks like
probably overseas.
Yeah, overseas. There's going to be a limited theatrical run worldwide November. I will be going to that. It'll probably come out here for a couple of weekends.
It's going to be on Thanksgiving, so.
Oh, nice. Very cool. So yeah, it looks like it's kind of picking off where that left off. It's still and I just realized too, the first movie dealt with a second generation legendary bird Ho-Oh. And this second movie is going to deal with Lugia, which is kind of the counterpart to that. If you know anything about how like the games are released, they're usually released in like a set.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 legendary Pokemon to kind of focus on, or not even necessarily legendary, but like the first set was Charizard, or the red version or the blue version, and then they released like the yellow version. There was a green version there somewhere. Maybe that was just coming later on. But anyways,
your nerd is showing.
It's showing. Yeah, I know. Where? But you can see that they're focusing on some of the earlier generations, the first 2, maybe 3. And so they're going to, as these reboot of the series kind of continue on, we're probably going to see more of the further generations. I can't even. I think we're on 7. Somebody's going to tell me in the comments below. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But with all that aside, I will say it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, the animation looks beautiful.
The animation is so good. It reminded me a little bit of like.
Is that? Do you guys have an eye for anime? Is it all just computer? It's all computer now.
I don't have an eye for anime, and I'm assuming it's mostly computer based. But I will say, from the little that I do know, it looked a little bit like the movie Your Name, which we're big fans of.
Oh yeah. That
also,
wonderful.
Check out Netflix. I think they're releasing the same studio that released Your Name, and writer there's a new show coming out. So if you're a fan of that, it'll be on Netflix within the next month or something like that.
The Japanese name is Kimi no Nawa.
Yeah, that's the Your Name.
But it's really good.
Very good film. But yeah, I also noticed too that they were focusing a lot on Eevee, which hasn't been a huge thing in the past, but they're releasing 2 Pokemon games coming out soon, which is focusing on Pikachu and Eevee. What are they called? Like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, or something like that. Yeah, the new Switch games, which look amazing.
Yeah.
And so they're pushing it. I can tell. Like, hey, Eevee's a character.
And it's kind of funny because the next Community Day on Pokemon Go is Eevee Day.
Eevee Day? Oh man,
where you're going to be able to get
people are going to be getting all of them.
Everything.
Cool.
It's actually next weekend, the 11th and 12th of August.
Fun. Maybe that'll be what I do on my birthday. I don't know. Okay, very cool. So that was Pokemon the movie, The Power of Us. Go check it out if you're interested.
I'll probably like rent, or it'll be fine.
You're only gonna have a couple days to see it in theaters.
I mean,
so
right,
I'm
not gonna. I already know I'm not gonna see it in theaters.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is your son gonna drag you? Your son into Pokemon?
No, well, not enough.
Okay.
For the limited. If it was out
Yeah,
but like to for limited release in a limited
it's like
window.
It's like
that's-
two
that's- you might as
two
well.
times in 2 different days.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
might as well. Yeah,
Wait
I'm
until
pretty
it
sure I
comes
won't be able to
out
make
on,
that.
like,
Sure,
Friday.
sure, yeah.
If it was out and it was out in theaters and well, maybe we'd go see it.
Yeah. I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe they just don't have enough funding, enough money.
No, they did something. Oh,
I'm pretty sure a lot of the original ones came out like straight to DVD also, so I don't know.
I think when they do this, it has something to do with the North American rights not being like set or like or there's still some issues. So
Sure.
they do like these little limited
Okay.
things. So
All right.
that's just one of those deals.
I think I'll go with my Movie Pass. Like that's fine.
There you
And by the way, Movie Pass is kind of
It's on its way out, man.
Going downhill.
It's very sad.
It's going downhill.
Don't leave me. I need you for well for $15 a month now. They just upped the price.
I mean, it's still kind of worth it. 15 is not bad.
No, it's not.
You know, but if you keep putting restrictions, it's like I'm out of here.
Right.
You know.
Anyways, that has been Screen Source episode 43. We did it. Thank you very much to our producer Hector, who's like fairly new, and he did this.
Thank you, Hector. You did amazing, and you're like super
Good
knowledgeable
episode.
about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
I
awesome.
appreciate the fact checking.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
We love
it's nice to have
facts.
somebody that knows film a lot.
And if you're watching, Allison, we really appreciate you watching.
Come see
it's
us.
Really awesome.
Yeah, and thank you, Bridget / Ewok for being here. Stan, Jess, my name is Dylan. Please like, share, subscribe, follow all of the verbs. Follow us on our Twitch channel too. What else? Oh, we just released our Patreon. I should be plugging that thing more often. Patreon.com/Color Circuit Live. We just got our first patron. We're very happy about it. All the tiers, all the goals we're looking for. You'll be seeing more of these guys. Yeah. So if it's annoying, let us know.
I don't care.
Twitter.
Oh, come on, it is annoying.
We'll be at Twitter at CLR Circuit Live, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.